It's the holiday season, scoop-dee-doo, bippity-bop, a scoop-dee-dee-bop. Welcome back to another episode of Enter the Nerdom. I'm here with co-hosts
Stan Morcini.
And ho, 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 it's Watson Bradshaw.
And it's obviously me, the number one elf, Chad Cook.
I see you more as a Krampus type character.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was an elf. I was the helper that fell into a vat of chemicals, and I was transformed into Krampus.
That's the backstory?
That's the backstory, yeah.
I like that. And you came out laughing with green hair?
Exactly. Just horns coming up.
One bad day.
Yeah. There's a great comic that explains that.
And I feel like Stan is just the bah humbug of the group. He's just
exactly.
Be seen by three
and I'm not talking about all Death in the Family. I'm talking about, like, there's a different comic that came out in the 90s where Joker, he talks about that day.
The Killing Joke?
Yeah, the Killing Joke, excuse me.
Yeah.
But there's another that goes further back in his, like, stand-up career before he became the Joker.
It was that series of Joker stories in one book.
Yeah.
Someone else is pretending to be, or no, he's pretending to be the Red Hood again or something, and they catch him and they pull off his mask, and he's like, and then when he's tied up, he's like, he mentions it.
Well, there's another one that he
something.
So he enters a stand-up like competition, and then before he becomes a Joker,
right?
And then the Killing Joke happens, but then after he becomes a Joker, he kidnaps all the judges from that night that were on his stand-up who were talking shit to him, making fun of him, and he tortures them, and he says I'm who I am partially because of you. It's so good.
Would have been a good idea for Joker too.
Oh, interesting, wouldn't it? Interesting, yeah.
Well, he didn't fall into that.
No, but he could have.
I mean, yeah.
Worked.
But I mean, one of his judges was he killed Robert De Niro's character.
Well, that wasn't. I guess it wasn't really a judge. But
I mean, they were criticizing.
They're criticizing.
You called me Joker.
Yeah. You're horrible, Murray.
Sorry to bring that memory up. That movie.
Yeah, seriously. Well, the first one's good.
Yeah,
the first one's good. Although I know you guys don't like it, but whatever.
It's okay. I mean, it's just not. I just don't consider him Joker.
Hey, it's a movie.
Well, you were right. As it turns out, you were right. He wasn't Joker. As it turns out, both of you guys were right.
See, I should have.
And I defended this movie, and I fought you guys on it. And then you guys turned out to be right. He wasn't Joker.
I think.
Thanks, Todd Phillips, for taking our check.
Yeah, well, I should have sent it in beforehand to Todd Phillips, and be like, you know what? Oh, people do think this, so now I don't have to make the movie because people get it, and then we wouldn't have had that mess. So
yeah,
that's true.
Well, now the one true Joker that we all love, Jared Leto, is going to be Skeletor.
Yes, he is
in the new He-Man movie.
Oh, yeah.
You heard this news?
Yes, I don't.
They've released the final
Look, I think Jared Leto's a talented actor, but I don't understand why he keeps getting these roles. I don't get it. Do they keep trying to make him a thing? What's going on?
I think, dude, Morbius. Come on.
Maybe I think he just wants to be. He wants that IP. Like it didn't work out with Marvel. It didn't work out.
I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean it's not working with Marvel?
Yeah, it didn't work out with Marvel. Didn't work with Sony. Maybe it'll work out with He-Man. Yeah, sure.
Well, I mean.
Morbius still is probably the best rated of the Spider-Man Sony universe movies.
Oh, we're gonna talk about it.
We'll get into it.
Getting into it, we all watched Kraven.
Yeah. That happened. Say R.I.P. to the Sony Marvel. I loved it before they even released the movie. They're like, this stuff is dead. Before even the movie hit.
We're contractually obligated to release this.
Yeah, but it's like, there was no promotion for it, really. No tie-in buckets, which pissed me off. It's like,
there wasn't. Yeah.
I had my Morbius bucket. I had my, my Madam Web stuff. Where's my Kraven bucket?
That's true. They didn't. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
they
didn't
really
even try,
just
dude.
swept this under.
They didn't even try.
Like, let's drop this and
a lion's mouth that you reach into.
Yeah, something.
Because the mane he would be wearing.
The rhino's head,
Yeah, that'd be cool, right?
I guess.
Yeah, or the mane. Yeah.
An icy cup with the rhino face so you could just sip out the horn.
That'd have been sick.
You really want the rhino.
I'm just saying,
rhino.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, the movie was terrible.
So, it stars Aaron Taylor-Joy. Russell Crowe, Tara Johnson, excuse me, is in it. Russell Crowe.
Anya
Taylor-Joy would have been great.
She would have been great. Yeah. Russell Crowe is in it.
She would have done Russian accent better, but
she definitely would have. The budget for it was about $130 million. And,
what?
Yeah. And as it was released on December 13th, and as of today, December 22nd, it has made $42 million in the box office.
Woo!
Ouch.
Wait, you mean $142 million?
Oh, sure. No, I don't.
No?
Just 42 million. Yes.
No, that's not good.
That is not good. And that 130 is probably not counting advertising, marketing. So let's say 150-ish,
Yeah.
So they've lost a good amount of money.
Oh, yeah, this was bad.
Watson, since you collect all the cups, and since you're in it, you actually went and watched. Yeah, you've gone and seen all of them, huh? I have yet to see Madam Web.
Oh man,
I haven't seen that. I know Chad hasn't seen it either.
I
haven't. We haven't committed as much as you have.
Yes, I've been all in on the Spider-Man extended universe, and yet again, like watching this, going like, I wonder if they're going to tie it in any way, shape, or form to Spider-Man.
Yeah,
they really don't.
Nope.
They mention the Jackal as a character, as a guy in New York, that the scientist in New York,
Miles Warren.
That's about it.
Why don't you give us a breakdown of the film?
Yeah, sure. As I'll do with as much passion as half the actors have. No, it starts off. We're in New York in I guess it would be the 90s, and we see a very young version of Sergei and his brother Dmitri, who are at a boarding school, and their father, played by Russell Crowe, picks them up to inform them that their mother's dead, and then we have to go safari hunting. Okay, I don't think you needed to add both of those plot points, but hey.
It's in there. You gotta go right now.
Yeah, exactly. We have to go right now. Oh, by the way, your mom's dead.
Yeah.
And then we cut to a mystic woman.
I guess
telling her granddaughter about hey, here's some exposition juice that you're gonna hold on to. That someone might need this who gets hurt by a lion. And this will help save them.
She's also a fortune teller.
That's right.
A tarot card reader.
Yes.
Somehow.
Yeah. But don't worry. That's all. That's never going to come back again.
And the juice has like a piece of rosemary in it or something.
Something. Yeah. It's just magic juice.
Who knows? It's a little vial.
Yeah. And then when we see the two boys, they're off in the jungles with their father, Russell Crowe, who's being a bossy guy. And
he's a Russian mobster.
You must kill, these creatures to be head of the family. Be strong like bull. And then
your action is as good as his, dude.
Man, thanks. I put zero effort in it, much like Russell Crowe. I feel like Russell Crowe was just what neckerchief could I wear in this movie? Because every scene's got a different neckerchief. I was like, that's a choice. That's a choice. And this giant lion who supposedly is a man-eater has been around for years and years.
Yeah, supposedly can't be killed.
Yes. Yeah, it's got scars all over him.
Shows up, and Sergei, our hero, does not take the shot, doesn't want to kill it.
Because he locks eyes.
Yeah, he locks eyes, and they have a moment.
They have some kind of connection.
Yeah.
This is before he gets the magic juice.
Could this be love?
Right. But someone else, his dad, takes a shot. Right, and then the lion's like, "Well, fuck you guys," and then I'm gonna just rip open your boy Revenant style, just and runs off with the kid, but luckily runs off to exactly where our,
young Calypso,
witchy poo character is
tarot reader or something.
Yeah, who looks at a tarot card with a line on it, going, "Maybe this is connected." I don't know. Let me give this kid some magic juice.
Oh, but also the lion blood. The blood drips into his open wounds.
Yes.
I guess infusing him with the power of the lion? I'm not sure.
But he's got all animal powers, right? It's like they never really say it's a lion.
Oh, yeah.
Because lions can't really climb walls.
It's true.
But he sure can.
Because the comics, it's just a formula he takes.
Right.
That he has to take repeatedly to keep his strength. And it actually keeps him from aging. So he looks 30, but he's over 70.
Right.
That would have been good. That would have been good to have in this.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The source material, come on, bro.
Right.
There's plenty of source.
He gets the super animal powers, which is like basically Spider-Man powers.
You got it from the lion, though.
Got it from the lion.
Lion Man.
And decides, fuck my family, I'm out of here.
No, she gives him the magic juice.
Yes.
That brings him back to life.
And then you have like flashes of like crazy symbols and stuff.
Who knows?
Yet again, doesn't matter.
It looked like a WB show.
It looks so bad, yeah. And then like he's in the hospital and he dies for a minute.
Yeah, dies for a minute.
Comes back, and then goes home and he's like, "Oh, I'm changing. It's weird." And then he's like, "I'm out of here. I can't hang out with you, brother." And I don't know why he can't take the brother with him.
I think it
doesn't really.
Because his brother's outside. His brother's like, "Take me with you. Don't leave me here with him, our father."
Right.
Because he's an abusive person. And he's like, "No, sorry," or whatever. And he like bounces. Reason. He's like, "I'm gonna go out and live in the wild, in the jungle."
Right.
And then he like fucks off.
And
he leaves his brother there.
And like you're like, "Oh man, they're never gonna see each other again." Yeah. Except for apparently they see each other every year on their birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, "Every year you come on my birthday." I'm like, "What the fuck is the point?"
Why?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And as he's out on his own, he becomes Kraven with a K.
Right. And then he goes after poachers.
Right. Because his name is Kravenoff.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't figure out who this Kraven guy is.
At all.
No, it's a mystery. Who could this Kraven be?
Well, I mean,
it's not this kid named Kravenoff.
Well, I mean, they don't know he's been in the jungle for however long, right?
I guess.
So we just got to say, like, during this movie, Watson and I...
Everybody doesn't know who Sergey looks like. Is that Sergey?
Yeah.
No, that's not. I don't think
Watson and I were watching. Chad was in between us, and Watson and I just kept looking at each other like, "What's happening?"
Nothing made sense.
And Chad was like staring at the movie intently, like, "Wow, this is very interesting."
No, I was just in. I didn't know how to react to the movie because it was that bad. I was just like, I mean, I couldn't even give it a laugh because it was that bad.
So bad.
It was. We were laughing.
There's so much leaps in logic that make no sense. Like the whole this whole character is like, this guy finds people, right? Mm-hmm. This is, they say multiple times, like, no one can get away from the hunter. The hunter will find you. Yeah. The hunter will get you.
Because he starts going after poachers. He starts going after criminals.
Yeah,
I guess.
Bad people.
Yeah. But like, and he has somebody. He has access to the outside world because he's able to take a helicopter.
Got money.
Yeah. Somehow he has money. I guess he took some of his dad's. I don't understand. Or maybe his dad still finances him.
Well, it seems like he might be a hunter for hire as well.
Right. That could be in the beginning. Well, there is somebody talking to him.
Yeah,
and like directing him, and it's a female's voice.
And
we thought that was going to be. That's never explained.
I thought that was Calypso.
The pilot, the pilot is never shown.
Never shown.
Yeah. And I looked online.
He has a private helicopter.
There's no listing of who that character is. Or who's the actor's
voice?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I'm guessing it's a character that got completely cut out the movie.
No, but they have to. That's weird. They have to give her
I was like looking up like pilot.
Well, is the actress who played Calypso, is there like a slash and then voice of person?
No.
Because like it sounded like her voice.
It did.
That's what I thought it was going to be.
Anyhow, there's somebody who talks to him and gives him missions and gives him updates, and then they just never go back to that.
Nope, never go back to that point.
Yeah.
He then ends up in London.
Yeah.
Trying to find Calypso because he's finding out, he wants to know more about the magic juice.
And remember, she also left the tarot card with him.
Yes, and she's like, "This is how you found me, through the tarot card." He's like, "Yeah, I got my ways,
Sure.
But then he's like, "But I need your help to find these other people."
Yeah.
So it's like your whole job is to find people.
Because she's now a lawyer in London.
Right. Yeah, this was weird. Like, let's make her a lawyer.
Yeah.
Which, okay. Yeah.
Right. And,
anyway,
he asked the question, like, where did you get this magic juice from? And she explained, like...
she explains it all right.
This is my grandmother's magic juice. Uh-huh. Unfortunately, she died, and I didn't see her after that.
No. But she died and never saw her after that.
Yes. It's one of the best lines. If I get a
Watson and
tattoo,
I looked at each other. Like, Watson and I locked eyes.
I've never laughed so.
And we just started cracking up like, what the fuck?
I was teary-eyed.
Both of us were like in the theater.
Like that was a legit line.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Chad's like, interesting. I think with that line,
I was trying to make sense of that. And like,
interesting.
The only way that line...
It's a parable.
Where they tried to... like, I think they just are just very bad at writing because I think...
It might be the worst line of the year.
Yeah. I mean...
It was
the line...
horrendous.
If anything, I think the line was in reference to because she's a tarot card reader and she could have images like she couldn't see her after that.
Okay, that would have made sense.
Yeah,
but some background on that.
They never go back.
Yeah, no, exactly, and that's why I think
the tarot card thing is in the beginning of the movie and nothing else.
It.
That's why I've been hearing there's a lot of stuff was probably cut.
Oh yeah,
so
there's a whole other movie out there,
and it just you're like, wait, what? That line doesn't make sense at all. So I'm sure that would if there was a scene before where she's just like talking to her mother like Shining style, like, "Hey there, Doc."
Yeah,
maybe they cut all that out because it was just too ridiculous.
Yeah, or something.
I that's the only thing I can think of, and it's just, but why did they leave that line in at all? They should just she died after that. Cut.
Yeah,
and just cut that. I don't understand.
Probably because their conversation wasn't done.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Well, we got to leave that in. It doesn't work."
So while he's in London, his brother gets kidnapped. His brother Dimitri, who is a mimic, some say like a chameleon, can mimic anyone's voice.
Interesting.
And because
like
he's a nightclub.
And it's the shittiest job of him just moving his mouth and then they play a recording.
Yeah, it's just like Russell Crowe's really just off screen like
yeah, I was like, oh boy.
yeah.
Couldn't roll my eyes hard enough.
Yeah. And so he goes missing, and so Kraven is now trying to find his brother. And it's a trap because they're trying to get Kraven. And so the bad guy who is the Rhino in this, who is a man with a skin condition, basically, who's got like a backpack filled with juice.
Like drugs.
That keep his affliction at bay.
Right.
Pretty much he's got diabetes.
Yeah.
And he's got the insulin tube going into his side.
And he uncorks it and then he becomes the Rhino. And he says it's very painful. Yeah. To do so. I heard also that last fight scene with the Rhino was done in additional photography. Like,
really?
None of that was in the movie originally.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Like, he would have just kind of rhinoed up, but we'd never see the full Rhino. That was all added later.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because they were like, he doesn't have anyone to fight. Well,
he had the Foreigner.
Yeah, the Foreigner, which was I thought the Foreigner was done very well.
Yeah.
The Rhino hires the Foreigner as an assassin to take care of Kraven. The Foreigner's a character with kind of hypnosis powers. So if you look into his eyes, he can kind of like space you out so you don't know where he's coming.
Right.
Which is good and like a good like versus like his quickness and super senses. Yeah, it was a good foil.
Yeah.
But
they didn't really do much with him.
Yeah, it was a decent fight between him and Kraven.
Yeah.
That was about it. When he dies immediately, and you're like, okay.
And then my favorite is like he has to have a special gun to fight Kraven. Yeah. He's like, no, I have to use a special gun with special neurotoxins.
Oh, right.
Right? So I got to make him scared first, and then I could. It's like, dude, you just get a gun.
Yeah,
like, he can't see you coming. You could shoot him in the back of the head like you did everyone else.
Just stab him.
Like, again, there should have been possibly or should have been a scene where he explains he killed because he explains briefly, he's like, he killed my brother or whatever, that was also an assassin, and like really maybe quickly, if they explain like, oh, he used toxins on him, then I'd be like, okay, so he's got to use,
because he uses the line's like he uses every trick in the jungle to take out his prey, and it's like, no, he uses a crossbow and knives. Like, he's not like doing like, I mean, like, it's not like, I think he uses a couple of bear traps at one point.
And that's another thing that they like kind of alter the character, because in the comics he refuses to use bow and arrows and things like that, because that's cheating.
Yeah,
he likes to use his fists and maybe knives.
Right.
And like maybe a blow dart or something like that, but that's it. Like,
and this they were very lazy about. Like,
yeah, it's like, we got to give him some guns and things.
Right.
Or, yeah.
The Foreigner tracks them down to their little cabin in the woods of Siberia, where he's got like a jaguar head. Though if you hit the button, a bunch of cool weapons show up. Like suddenly all the cabinets open up with all his weapons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which they show two people do. Like, it's one point where Calypso shows up, and of course she's got to get in her superhero outfit for no reason. Like, suddenly she's in like this weird corset thing, and you're like, why would you suddenly change outfit? All right, never mind. And then she like hits the button, and then all the like knives pop out.
Yeah.
And then like, which is like, okay, that's a cool like reveal. And then Kraven does it. Like, Kraven comes and goes, check this out, and he hits the button, and all the knives come out. It's like, why do the reveal twice? You could ever do it once where she does it as an accident, Or you have him do it to be like a badass load up montage.
Right, exactly.
Don't do it twice.
Yeah.
You take the energy away from it, right?
I agree. Yeah. I probably zoned out because I don't even remember that.
Oh, it was terrible. Yeah. And then of course there's like a fight in the woods, which was all right. Like I think all the action sequences look good.
Yeah.
Like there's
some pretty brutal kills.
The first 8 minutes, I forgot to mention, there was a whole like sequence in Siberia in a prison. Yeah. Where like he kills a guy. Which was all right. Yet again,
there
you
was
see him
some
like
CG
bouncing
moments
around.
of him
Little rubbery
from building to building. I was
they look good. I mean,
it had its
some pretty brutal kills of like henchmen.
Yeah, because they would definitely are like, oh, we're radar. Ooh,
right,
cool.
Yeah,
let's show some blood. But then I mean, very like yet again. So then like, the Farna dies very anticlimactically. Like Calypso shoots him with an arrow through the face. They do a little bit of a nostalgia pull where like Kraven is like hallucinating and sees a bunch of spiders.
Yeah.
And you were talking about the comic book?
Yeah, I mean it was I forget if it's exactly like that, but there's an illusion.
It's like Death of Kraven, right? Where
he has a nightmare of spiders.
He's like
and he's like and then he I guess sees Spider-Man in the paper, but I think in the comics, Chameleon invites him to take out Spider-Man because he's been getting trouble from him. So
you know, so you expect something kind of tie in, like other than like, hey, remember that panel? We're doing that panel.
Yeah.
And then, so then they have this fight with a bunch of like yaks are attacking.
Oh, yeah. He calls it in a stampede as like to knock over their.
And it's the big battle with him and Rhino.
Yeah.
And you see Rhino Rhino up for the first time, and it's pretty decent. But then they take him out real quick.
Yeah,
like they stick the he like has a hole in the side of him where his juice goes in, and Kraven kind of figures like that's his one like weak spot, and sticks a piece of rebar in there.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
which is like okay, all right. So you could do the Sinister Six, but you just killed a member.
Yep.
And I actually really like that actor who was playing the Rhino.
Oh yeah, I forget his name.
Yeah, I forgot too. But he knew what movie he was in. He was having a blast.
Right? Yeah,
he was just chewing up the scenery left and right.
Castor Troy's brother.
Yeah,
Alessandro Nivola.
Yeah. Yes, fantastic. It was doing great.
He stole the Velociraptor eggs.
That's right.
Oh wow, yeah. But I thought he was having fun, and like everyone else was taking it very seriously.
Yeah,
like even like I expected more from Russell Crowe.
They didn't give him a lot to chew on.
Yeah.
But he should have at least just hammed up his scenes.
Even his last scene feels very like thrown in at the last minute where he's like in the woods. Like Kraven takes out Rhino, and he like realizes that his dad is the one that sold him out.
Yeah.
Which I think the ending should have been the brother because you establish whole thing of like he's a mimic, he can cover like maybe he acts like his dad's voice to.
That's what I thought was going to happen.
Like something.
Well, there was the end where Rhino is kind of beat.
Yeah.
And then you see the brother like pick up a gun.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he's going to turn on Kraven.
Yep.
Nope, it was the dad all along, which we knew.
Right.
And I was like, oh, so for a second I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. It was actually the brother that's like his only like kind of human connection.
Right.
And his brother turns out, nope, wasn't.
No,
we didn't follow up with that.
And so he takes out.
They do it at the end, but it's not really the same.
He goes camping with his dad, and a bear eats him.
Yeah, calls bear on him.
Right.
But then at the end, his brother is now taking over the racket.
Yeah.
The organized crime, and now they're kind of enemies.
Right.
I guess.
And they had the worst. So, and yet again, another piece that felt like very thrown in at the end.
Yeah.
Was they mentioned the brother going to the same scientist, the Jackal, basically to get some kind of augmentation to himself, and so they're going across like the London Bridge, and Kraven like turns him around real quick, and he's got Kraven's face, but it's like still a tiny guy.
Yeah.
Like his body doesn't change, just his head. I'm like, that's a pointless power now because it's like, so you can only be guys that are like 5'4" and 180 pounds. Like, because it's like he looked like skinny Steve Rogers version of Kraven.
I would hope like there's more to it, and he only transforms his head, but I doubt that.
Because we'll never see that character.
Yeah,
again.
no.
So he turns around, and then they do the full like comic book looking, chameleon look.
Yeah,
for like a hot second.
Yeah,
and then that's the end of the movie.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was,
and that's the end of that universe, and
pretty much.
Yeah.
Bye.
And it sucks because it's like Kraven had a really good year in terms of a character because he was really, like we were talking about this, he was featured very heavily in the Spider-Man 2 game.
Right.
And the storyline of that was really solid. Like it was him going to New York and hunting all the animal-themed villains, you know, like Scorpion and Lizard. And I'm like, that would have been a fucking great movie.
Right.
You know, like you don't even have to have Spider-Man in that if he's just hunting other... And it still kind of makes... You want him to make an anti-hero. Yeah, have him hunting these, like, animal-themed villains.
You know what? I would have had Madam Web have a cameo in this movie. Mm-hmm. And she is with Calypso...
Oh, yeah.
Doing the whole future telling thing and stuff like that.
That would have made sense.
And then
tie that in.
And like maybe put down a card with spiders on it and like just fucking, you know.
Yeah, because right now there's no ties to anything. Like none of those things are connected. I mean, they tried it with Morbius to have, you know, Michael Keaton show up at the end and be like, hey, man, we should all team up. Yeah. And that went nowhere.
Yeah.
No.
You know, and then Madam Web, nothing. You know, Venom had no connection.
Well, like, in Madam Web, do they go to that... Because, like, if you remember the 90s cartoon, she's in that other world.
Yeah,
like,
no.
They don't go there at all?
No, she just kind of astral projects.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Like they do, like, a Doctor Strange thing.
Because I would say that would have been interesting if they did this from the beginning of the Spider-Verse movies, of just have her, like, overwatching everything.
They do talk about, like, the web of destiny kind of thing, where she sees, like, the threads. Yeah. But that's about it.
You know,
that's a because it's still her starting her career as Madam Web and figuring out her powers.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So yeah, this is all done.
Yeah.
And looks like Sony's just gonna concentrate on the next Spider-Verse movie, which I think they're starting over. It doesn't look like that movie's gonna come out.
I wonder if
soon.
like, you know, if it's affecting their, like, maybe if they. Who knows if they'll even do the second?
I mean, they're kind of like handcuffed a little bit. The fact that they have to have something in production to keep the rights of Spider-Man going, and they've already got they got Tom Holland on board for another Spider-Man 4.
Yeah.
So I think that keeps them good for a while.
Did part 1 of Spider-Verse do well? I forget. Like
it did. It did really well.
I wasn't sure because. Some movies that were part 1 this year didn't do as well.
No, it did pretty well for I don't know the numbers, but I know it did really well.
Okay.
Because people love those Miles Morales movies. So
we have had a good Kraven on screen before. Obviously not in the Spider-Verse, but this is an older film in the movie Reign of Fire. Matthew McConaughey's Van Zandt.
Oh my God!
The way he was obsessive over
the dragon,
the dragons, and he's at his axe, and he's like,
he jumps across,
he's crazy,
and he's just wearing the vest,
He was Kraven.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
Yeah,
it was very. I thought that was very like Moby Dick kind of story.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah,
but like even when he beats up Christian Bale, he's just telling us like strength is what's gonna save us, not hiding. Things like that.
That movie, I mean, low key is a fantastic movie.
No, it's a great movie. It's a very interesting idea. Yeah, Apocalypse through dragons. Yeah,
love it.
And they got the archangels.
That was the movie. I saw that movie,
and the planes.
That was the movie. When I saw that, I thought Christian Bale would be a great Batman.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was the one.
Agreed.
I thought Matthew McConaughey would have been a good Captain America.
And then you went spelunking in London just to find
the
dragon.
Find a dragon. I got sprayed in the eyes. God damn it.
Another movie we saw so Kraven,
don't see it. Yeah,
you don't recommend it?
Some would say not so Kraven. Yeah.
I wish it was like dumber. It needed to be like dumber to be more fun. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it wasn't dumb enough to be fun. It took like too many people took themselves seriously. I think the only actor. The guy doing Rhino was the only one that was like really hamming it up and having a good time with it.
I think if Aaron, if he didn't, because the one thing that bugged me is he had an American accent, and I was just like, Just go with the British one. You could have won British, but I was like, if you're gonna do Russian, just ham it. Do the shittiest Russian accent you can. It'd be fun. Right. It'd be more fun.
I really wanted to like this because the rumors are Aaron Taylor Johnson is in a real short list of names for Bond. Okay. And I think he would be a great Bond. I think
so too. Yeah,
but this might fuck him over. Like I loved him in Bullet Train. I thought he did great in that.
It's just like I like him, but his voice is so high that I just don't see him. I mean, he would be a good Bond, but his voice is high enough where it's just not that intimidating of a Bond.
He does have 28 Years Later coming out.
Which is going to be interesting. Yeah,
so that might.
I think he'd be a good Bond. I think he'd be like a good like Bond year one.
Yeah. You know. I mean, whoever it is going to be, they're going to have to do something like that.
Right. Money penny.
Yeah. Oh, money penny.
No, but he's not confident enough yet to talk to girls. Hey, money penny.
He's the incel version of
do you want to get some?
Never mind.
Yes, coffee. I can't Bond. Well, fuck you then.
Shaking dust. Oh God.
Oh, I spilled my martini on my pants. Oh no! People are thinking
Uber this Aston Martin.
People are gonna think I peed my pants. Q, I need a gadget to dry my pants.
It's an interesting Bond, dude. He's just not confident enough in himself yet.
That'd be an interesting take.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
sort of Bond 27 or 26, whatever they're at now.
Just make a Naked Gun Bond, type of situation.
That was Austin Powers right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Another movie that we did see that was had nowhere near the budget that Kraven did was Werewolves.
Oh.
Starring Frank Grillo and directed by Stephen C. Miller. You guys should have told me about how I would have.
I did.
Spontaneous.
Yeah, what are you
gonna
do? I mean, we can do it again if you want.
No. It's okay.
Are you sure?
It's okay. No,
the second take.
On it. Not part of the pack, I guess. It's okay.
You're the alpha dog. You don't have to.
Exactly.
We're your choir. You're howling choir, man.
All right, fair enough. Lou Diamond Phillips is in this movie.
He sure is.
And
Cucaracha.
Yes. Chad, give us a breakdown of Werewolves if you can. What is this? I'm looking at the Wikipedia page right now.
Yeah.
And under plot, there's nothing.
Is it 2 lines?
There's nothing. Yeah. No, there's nothing. There's nothing under plot.
I'm sure IMDb has like a little synopsis paragraph.
I think we should edit their page.
What we say right now will go under the plot. Word for word.
Verbatim. Well, all right. So apparently in this world, there's been a previous supermoon.
Hold on. Type.
Where if you are hit by the moonbeams, you turn into a werewolf.
Right.
And so
that's just fact.
That's just fact, And apparently, so a supermoon is coming back, and everybody's very scared and frightened, and they're boarding up their houses, and kind of like very much like the Purge.
Yeah.
And,
it felt like Purge.
The same kind of
the pitch in the meeting for the pitch for this this movie was The Purge meets Werewolves. Boom, greenlit.
Boom.
Yep.
I'd be like, I would have said I'd be like, oh, that sounds cool. But so people are boarding up their houses, and we meet the sister-in-law and his niece. Frank Grillo's sister-in-law and niece, and he's helping them, board up the house before he has to go to work on a serum that's possibly, maybe, going to prevent people from turning into werewolves. Right. And because we learned he was in the military, but he's also a biochemist of sorts.
He's a loving uncle, a biochemist.
He's also jacked.
A badass.
He's also jacked.
Yeah, ridiculously jacked.
Like 1980s action film jacked.
But
he's a biochemist.
Hey. Every 80s action star is a chemist.
It's true.
It's true.
It's true.
Well, Dolph Lundgren is an actual chemist. Yeah.
Why wasn't he in this film?
Seriously, right?
That would.
He'd have just been correcting.
Yeah.
Actually, no.
Moon screen doesn't work.
But keep going.
So he's boarding up the house and kind of prepping them before he has to leave. And we see a crazy neighbor, like a kind of a survivor nut next door, and he's just firing off his gun at his targets. It's like, Obi! Screaming, and just Frank Grillo's like, what are you doing?
You're firing right
at my house.
Yeah.
It's my sister.
It's also wasting a bunch of rounds.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And he's not, you could tell that he did not board up his house much of anything
at all.
He
was a bad weekend warrior.
Yeah, and he's like painting his face
he's getting ready to take the werewolves on.
Yeah, exactly.
So
after he preps the sister-in-law and the niece, he goes to work, and they have these volunteers that have turned into werewolves before.
Yeah, they were hit by the previous supermoon.
Yeah, supermoon. And so they put them in cages, and then they apply the moon. They call it moon screen.
Moon screen, yeah.
Very inventive.
Moon screen.
Moon screen. And they're prepping the stage for when the supermoon shows itself, and they're going to open the bay doors above them to let the light in, as everyone's in these I guess they're protected hazmat suits.
Yeah, full body protection.
I was like, why wouldn't you just put the werewolf guys in the hazmat suits if that protects you from the light? Or I don't know if it did or not, because
they wanted to expose them to see how long the moon screen would
work.
Not make them.
And they don't want to. Yeah, they don't want to get exposed themselves.
Well, no, I understand that, but one guy not in the cage could have stood out there in the hazmat suit in the light just to see if that affected.
If he's gonna change anyway.
Yeah, if he's gonna change in a hazmat suit, because
that's a good point. They never really say
because there's a point when things go crazy and they do start turning. The one guy gets slashed and his suit's and then he gets hit by the light. So it's would that not have worked if he was in the suit or not? So I don't know.
Are you questioning the logic of werewolves?
Hey,
come on, bro.
I mean,
this is scientifically sound.
Hey, I've been studying supermoons for 20 years, and not many people know about the circumference and the trajectory radius. And the radius. And there's a lot of things. The orbital
stationary platform.
Yeah, stationary platform that the supermoon is.
Duh.
And it's just when I heard about this was going to be in a movie, I was very excited, and they didn't touch on all the subjects.
He does talk about moon rotations a lot.
Yeah, I do.
It's pretty weird.
Bring it up.
It's true, and how it affects the periods of women.
I mean, it's very
yeah. and the tide.
Every single time
the ocean tide as well.
Yeah.
Because that in turn affects tide pods. If you want to, I don't want to get into it, but the tide, the moon, and tide pods all connected. Really.
Tidal pools or tide pods, which use
tide pods for the laundry.
Oh, for laundry. Oh, yeah. Of course.
Yes,
of course.
Yeah. But anyway, back to
werewolves.
Yes. So the moon screen is working at first.
Yeah.
But then it starts to we get different kind of which I liked was that we had different kind of volunteers.
We had 3 different ones. Yeah.
No, 4.
Is it 4?
There was 4. Yeah.
Oh, right.
It was the girl who was like, "Please, no, I don't want to do this anymore. I changed my mind." And then you have the 2 crazy guys that are like, "Yeah!" They can feel the moon coming.
Yeah, the one hyena left guy.
And then you have the one guy who
is dating one of the doctors.
The doctors,
yeah.
And he's like,
which we thought that was going to come up again, and it didn't. But
not really.
Yep.
So as things are pumping up and they're counting the minutes that go by that they haven't turned, I forget if something else happens in there, but they do start turning eventually.
Yeah.
And then
it was the moon screen only lasts an hour.
But something knocks their cage loose. Oh no, sorry. They one of their machines comes close to apply something else.
They were going to apply more because it started to change, and they were like, apply more moon screen on them quickly.
Yeah.
And someone got close, and it all held.
Yeah, they threw the thing back, and it hit somebody. And oh god!
And Lou Diamond Phillips gets exposed.
It was almost I wish it was kind of in the same vein as Dr. Octopus waking up in Spider-Man 2.
Right.
People were like, oh god! So I wish it was a little more cartoony, because what we saw was we got a very heavy strobe.
Yeah,
it was hurting my head a little bit.
So this movie, unfortunately, because it only had a $2 million budget.
Yeah.
So, but they did a lot with what they had. But so for the majority of the movie, they do with a lot of these movies that don't have a ton of money. Is that they shoot a lot of what they have, especially supernatural creatures in the darkness.
Yeah.
So the camera's on them for a couple seconds. But mostly it's dark. That's why we had the strobe effect.
Yeah.
That's why we had a lot of a fog.
Yes.
It's because they got to save
money.
Yeah, they got to save money, and they can only,
for what it was, they did use practical suits.
Oh, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. Keep going, John.
And so as they are breaking free and people are retreating, Lou Diamond Phillips gets attacked, and he starts turning in the suit, and they're trying to get the moon screen on him before, or the injection of the moon screen.
Sedate him.
Sedate him for it, but it's too late. And so Frank Grillo and the female scientists, they armor up and they get pistols and they're trying to make their way out. And because
she was ex-military too for some reason. Because he was like, do you remember to use one of these?
We served in
together,
somewhere together, and it's like, this is like target practice all over again. And it's like, no, they'll be moving this time.
Yeah,
and so
very much. I only have his pistols too. Which is weird.
So I was like, I think there was rifles.
I don't think they could afford to have rifles. Maybe I don't know.
Well, no, some of the soldiers.
I know that, but I'm saying they didn't pick up rifles. They just had pistols.
Well, I mean, the rifle and the neighbor had a rifle.
Yeah, I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, there was some guns out there.
Hey, whatever. So
they applied the moon screen on themselves.
By the
way, this is supposed to take place in Florida, and we're like, this is not.
Is it Florida?
Oh, yeah. It's supposed to take place in Florida.
Oh, wow.
But I'm just looking at it now as Puerto Rico. I was like, it looked like a Latin American country.
Yeah.
I thought it was like Mexico or like Panama or something.
Oh, wait, so it was supposed to take place in Florida, but it
takes place in Florida, the movie.
Yes.
But it's actually filmed in Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because looking at it, I was like, this does not look like Florida.
Right.
Yeah.
And, if you want to have like a dystopic kind of like, all right, this is Florida during a purge kind of scenario, kind of makes sense. You can you can go Latin America.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if anything, I wasn't really paying attention to where they were. It was just like, I get it. They're in the city part. They're making way more back to the suburbs. That's so as they're running through the city, trying to escape back to he gets a phone call from sister-in-law that one of the neighbor girls
oh my God
is like knocking at the door, and he told her not to open it for anybody.
Right.
And he's like, she could be turning or something like that. And as she's on the phone, she's looking at the camera that's watching her outside, the neighbor outside, and the wolf just grabs her and just rips the shit out of her.
Yeah. But they have an electrified fence around her house. And the wolf picks her up and slams her against the fence and scraping
barbecues her.
I was like, damn, that was pretty brutal.
Yeah. That girl gets it worse than anyone.
Yeah.
So these werewolves
she's still alive while he's doing that. Yeah.
These werewolves keep their,
somewhat of their intelligence.
Yeah. So as they're running, they come across like this weird group that's hiding, like with masks and I don't know what the point was, other than to show them to a tunnel that they were going to use to get further.
Right. It was kind of a pointless scene of like, hey, we got some guys in like steampunk outfits.
Yeah, but they obviously But one of them did mention like it doesn't matter, like your screen's not going to work. Werewolves or something like that. Or it was just a weird kind of segue.
Right.
And then then it cuts back to the sister-in-law at home, and she's fighting off the werewolves with a shotgun, and she's just firing it off,
blowing holes in the house,
and she's succeeding pretty well though. Like she's like take out like 1 or 2 or 3 or something like that.
Yeah, she's good because they got pepper spray set up. It was very much Home Alone.
Yeah,
right.
Like she's got all these little gadgets.
Yep, and then also it jumps back to Frank Grillo, and they run across these guys like actually fighting werewolves.
Yeah, there's like street vigilante guys. There's like
again, it looks like the Purge. One guy's got like a Gatling gun mounted on a truck,
and they're all wearing full body suits to cover themselves from the moon.
The moon,
and they're distracted by Frank Grillo and them, and the werewolves come down and take them out.
Yeah.
And then Frank Grillo and her, or they're trying to escape, and she's got like some theory that she wants to test out.
We don't really,
which is my check cleared. I'm out of this movie.
Yeah. So she goes up to one of them, and she's just like, it looked like, from my opinion, I thought it was like either her boyfriend come back, and that she thought it was him, or she might have been pregnant with her boyfriend's baby, and that kind of kept them
that idea.
Because like she went up to him. She went up to the werewolf who was like a punk,
Yeah.
The human was like this plus he was like all punked out with like his like vest
leather
and like
vest.
and like
very
piercings
80s,
and shit. Yeah, very 80s. It was awesome. And she goes up and growls in his face, and he growls at her, and then she growls back.
Like she's trying to be alpha.
And then the werewolf kind of is like, okay.
And then like
and we're like,
but he like sniffs her, like
right.
That's why I think it
was
might
very
have
like
been a baby
Alien
or something.
3
probably, yeah. But then as they're about to jump, they get to a truck. Frank Grillo gets up. He's like spraying the fucking Gatling gun everywhere. And he gets in the tree. He's like, "Get in, get in." Her name is Amy Chen, Dr. Amy Chen.
Yes, Dr. Amy Chen.
Dr.
She
Chen,
like
they say that like 900.
Yeah, Dr. Chen.
Even with the werewolf boyfriend's like, "I love you, Dr. Chen."
Dr. Chen,
and I was like, that's weird.
Yeah, calling your girlfriend Dr. Chen. Anyway,
You don't show your doctor girlfriend respect. She worked hard for that doctor.
She did.
Right. Title.
But before she's about to jump in the truck, she like stops and stares at him and like has like a moment of realization or something, and then like a werewolf hand takes her and she's gone.
She's just gone. That's
and it's like, oh shit, I guess she's dead.
And
Guess
then,
that
like
theory
I
didn't
thought
work?
we were
I
gonna
don't know.
see her again
later,
and she's fine, and she's like, I figured out blah 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 blah.
Right.
Or nothing. We don't.
No,
that's
we don't.
never touched on after.
She disappears after
So,
that.
Yeah.
But then he makes it back to his sister-in-law's house.
Yeah, and the neighbor has turned into a werewolf, but we know it's him because he's still wearing the body armor and the paint on his face. So I was like, that's gonna come to play.
Yeah, definitely.
Later,
he's got the wolf killer written on his flag.
Right.
And so he's trying to get in the house and kill them, but Frank Grillo shows up and like hits him with the truck that he acquired, and then he helped. Oh,
but then it's raining for some reason. Just that.
Oh yeah,
one
randomly in that one.
But somehow there's still moonlight. I was like, I don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
there's no cloud.
There's no
it's
clouds
an
at all.
80s movie.
Clouds
It's like it's like the end of Lethal Weapon.
Right.
It's raining for some reason. And they've got to fight in the rain. That's
just.
Oh yeah, so that was so I
was like, well, how's your
they're in the
how's your
house
moonlight or whatever.
They're taking out werewolves left and right.
Yeah.
And then he realizes there's 15 minutes till sunrise. And he's got to do what he's got to do.
Yeah.
Manly man decision there.
So then it stops raining and the clouds part.
Right.
And then there's moonlight. Okay. I guess.
Yeah,
and he decides to expose himself.
Yeah, to fight off
to werewolf up.
Yeah.
So they can have some werewolf on werewolf action.
Yeah. Yeah.
For no real reason. It's like you got 15 minutes. You could have probably just.
And the fight lasts like 10 seconds.
Right.
They're kind of clawing at each other and it's over.
Right. And then he's immediately like, I'm going to turn on the family then.
Yeah.
And she's got the shotgun like, don't make me do it.
I think they wanted that confrontation between the sister-in-law and Frank Grillo, werewolf. Right. So they needed a reason for him to expose himself.
Right.
But like I think it could have been he was fighting the neighbor as a werewolf and he gets thrown outside and maybe he turns involuntarily and then you get that moment. But I don't know why they felt like, well, no, we got to have werewolf on werewolf fight.
You definitely got to have that, yeah.
But I think maybe it's because he's so jacked that he's alpha and he's like, I gotta take this wolf out before I eat my family.
That could be it. Yeah.
He was the most jacked werewolf. Too.
I mean,
that's so funny.
And then as he's about to eat his sister-in-law or attack her, she takes the shotgun with the final shell in it, but she shoots out a window and the sunlight comes in.
Because apparently sunlight is the cure to moonlight.
I guess.
Yeah.
That doesn't make. I mean, it doesn't make any sense because they're both the same.
It's Gremlins.
Lights,
it's Gremlins.
It's Gremlins. Yeah, in reverse.
It is. Yeah.
Stop questioning. Don't you know? Sunlight
is the cure to moonlight.
No, super moonlight.
Super moonlight.
Regular moonlight, it wouldn't do anything. But it's super moonlight, sunlight.
What am I thinking? Thinking logically.
So,
you are the super moon expert. So.
Obviously. So werewolves, okay, so like I think as soon as the movie ended, we started talking, I was like, okay, A for effort.
Yeah.
Because they did, and this is something, anytime a movie does this, I respect the hell out of it. They use practical effects when it came to the werewolves, and the werewolves look great.
Yeah.
They look so fucking good. For a lot of people out there who are listening, if you've ever seen a little tiny movie called Dog Soldiers, they definitely were inspired by Dog Soldiers in this. Because like in Dog Soldiers, I know, Chad, you haven't seen it, but like in Dog Soldiers, they do what this movie does, what Dog Soldiers did, because also Dog Soldiers didn't have a huge budget. They keep the werewolves in the dark. You see them kind of moving in the distance. When they attack, you maybe see a hand, or you see like them pull somebody out. You don't really see them until the very end, where they're finally in like there's glory as they're walking inside the house, and they're like backlit by the moonlight, and they're these tall, gangly things. And I love it when, because I love that kind of werewolf. I love like the human hybrid, human wolf hybrid.
Yeah, I like
I don't like it when they turn into like an actual wolf. Like get the fuck out of here. Yeah. I can see that in the zoo. Come on, I want to see like an act like with these long limbs and the fucking wolf head that's like 7 feet tall with a huge snout and they're fucking drooling. I love that shit. And so like I can tell that this movie was heavily inspired by dog soldiers because their werewolves look the same. Mm-hmm. And every now and again you'll see them running, and that's probably CGI.
No, there was some where it was just
or it's probably an actual person running. Yeah. But I mean, they use some CGI. You can tell for some of that for the action shots. But yeah, I love that they have an actual animatronic head.
Yeah.
Because it always look, no matter even if it's shitty animatronics and shitty practical effects, it still looks real because it is real.
You can tell that's where most of the budget went.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure probably the script, it was like a street filled with werewolves.
Right,
exactly. And instead it's like they had like 6 suits, maybe.
Yeah.
You know? And so they just kept reusing the suits and changing a little. I mean, I think they had like probably 2 like hero suits. Like they had the Cody suit with the
paint
stripes on the face and stuff. And then they probably had a few that they like modified. Like they did it, the punk rocker look and stuff like that. And then they would just probably change pits out.
Yeah, man, which was great. Like the punk rocker thing. Glad you brought that up. That's like we said earlier. It's like it's a homage to like the '80s werewolves movies, like The Howling.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Silver Bullet.
Yeah,
you could also tell that the people who wrote and made this film have a huge love for those movies.
Yeah,
the 1980s werewolves movies. American Werewolf in London, which is 1970s, but still, that's like that was one of the main sparks of this entire genre.
Also, it wasn't they didn't like follow werewolf lore with silver
bullets, and
so,
I know one of the werewolves. We saw one of the werewolves get shot by the Gatling gun.
Yeah,
but we don't see them. That's like pretty much the only one that's like gets really hurt by bullets. I think.
Yeah. No,
I'm not really sure what bullets can do to werewolves in this.
Well, because in when the sister-in-law was fighting them off, she did kill like 1 or 2 of them. With
she shot them, but we didn't see them like fall. We hear like them like growling and running away and stuff like that. But either way, I mean, I also like the storyline. It's like, there's a supermoon that turned people into this thing, and like all of a sudden now we have to prepare for it every year, like you said, the Purge. I think A for effort. I think they did it. They could have cheaped out and been like, let's just do some bullshit CGI werewolves, But they like, no, let's go practical effects. Let's build suits and let's have like people in them, and let's have the animatronics in the mouth and the teeth. Right. Really well done, man.
So I doing a little research too. The original title of the movie was supposed to be Year 2.
Oh, that makes sense.
But everyone was like getting confused because it was like, did we miss the first?
Right,
movie?
Yeah.
So instead, they just went with werewolves.
Yeah, I remember we talked about this after the theater too. And it's like if they do a sequel to this, it's going to be a prequel, like the first night, and hopefully, because I think this movie really tries. Like it's not some like B movie bullshit that were just like it's not something that just like threw against the wall and see what stuck. It's like they actually try to plan it out. And the acting is not terrible. Frank Grillo's a pretty good actor. Yeah. So he's able to carry on his own. The woman who plays his sister-in-law, her name is, I'm going to get this wrong, Infentia Hedera. Mm-hmm. She's been on a couple other things, but she did a pretty decent job, you know. And she could feel that, as her daughter and her home is being threatened, that she looks genuinely terrified.
Yeah. Except like the dialogue they gave her and some of the other dialogue from wasn't so strong.
Exactly. The dialogue wasn't great, but these actors did what the best they had.
Yeah, I mean,
best they could have what they had.
They it's hard to kind of craft a character, I guess, when it's like, okay, you're stuck in this house, and your husband was a firefighter who died,
right?
And you're gonna make dumb choices. Go,
right. Yeah, I mean, I think if they had a bigger budget, it definitely would have been a lot tighter. Mm-hmm. And even the scientists trying to crack the code of like, how can we stop people from turning into these killer beasts?
Yeah.
Pretty good idea, Yeah. It's not terrible. I think that, they probably should have started where, let's do year 1, where it's like, all of a sudden there's a supermoon that's turning people into like these werewolves. I'd love to see that. Yeah. With I think with a little more money, that could be a decent movie.
The first line that shows up on screen is, there was a billion werewolves.
Yeah.
And you go, well, that's humanity dead. Like
pretty much,
exactly.
There
shouldn't be much of society after that.
Yeah, man. And like the lore of the werewolves is interesting in this because we saw the prisoners that were in the test subjects that were in the cages, and they have like scars all over their bodies from them turning into...
It looks like it's a harsh change. It's not like easy.
Like there was that one shot of a little kid in line, like he was blind in one eye, and had like scarring on his face that we saw a quick glimpse of.
Yeah.
Like, oh damn, that. So he must have turned as well.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I wish we could have got, but again, budgetary restrictions. I wish we could have gotten like a transformation of the werewolves, like vis-a-vis like American Werewolf in London, something like that. That would have been awesome to see. But we kind of seen that before, but still, it would have been cool to see. But I went into this movie not thinking it's going to be like this huge groundbreaking thing, but it kind of was in a way, because in a sad way, because we don't see a lot of practical effects anymore.
No. Yeah.
And we don't see a lot of productions using practical effects. And so when we do see them nowadays, they're like, wow, that looks awesome.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a nice little nostalgic throwback kind of vibe.
Man. You know? Yeah. And it's like, if we had probably, I think we said this, or I said this after the movie, I was like, it's the best werewolf movie of 1989.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
and we had seen this in 89 and we were like, whoa, that shit was
This would have been,
great.
this would have killed.
Like, I could also see this as a high budget film that would have premiered on Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
It would have been like, you'd see all the promos for tonight at 9
Right.
p.m.
Yeah,
Werewolves.
All about Sharktopus.
Or it's like before 8:30 Eureka episode, and then it would come on after.
Yeah.
Like they just it was just like they're restricted obviously by money, and obviously producers hesitant nowadays with with the strikes that happened, and with also they're not going to put out as much, so like this idea, it's a gamble. So but thankfully they pulled it off for what they had, and hopefully that might develop into something later.
I hope it
turns
does,
into
man.
a cult film or something.
I hope so,
it's good
man.
to see stuff like this have like theatrical releases.
Yeah, man, because there was like, and I think you said it, Watson. It's like there was definitely a lot of heart to this movie, and there's definitely a lot of fans of the '80s werewolves movies.
Oh yeah.
So I hope that they get a second shot at this.
Yeah.
Because this was pretty good with what they had, man.
Yeah.
I was impressed. I was like, okay, like it wasn't great, but they had budgetary restrictions, but again, they did the best with what they got, and I still was pretty impressed by it. Mm-hmm. Anything now that it's practical effect, I'm like, good job, man.
Yeah.
Good job. Because that takes a lot of effort and a lot of skill and a lot of like heart.
A lot of people wouldn't do nowadays.
Yeah, it takes a lot of love, and it's hard to do it. Yeah, it's just easy. Let's hire some fucking CGI animators and go from there, and then it just looks terrible.
Yeah.
By the way, Frank Grillo's 59, dude. Fuck. He's almost 60, and he looks like that. So if you ever want to get in shape and you're like, I don't know, I can.
Yeah, I'm a little too old for it.
No.
Well, actually, I remember seeing a video of him talking about like his diet to Men's Health or something like that, and he like barely eats anything. I was like,
sure.
That's why.
Oh yeah.
I had an apple in 2024.
I had half a milkshake. Right. No, not half a milkshake. I had half a protein shake.
I don't know, man. To get that fucking big, he's definitely eating, dude. He's definitely
I mean, like
eating a lot of chicken.
Yeah.
Chicken and broccoli.
A lot of protein, but like to start his day, he like doesn't have any breakfast barely.
Yeah.
It's like I'll have a half a protein shake, then go work out for like 5 hours.
Right.
Then come back, have a chicken and broccoli or something, and then go work out again, and then
a stem cell sandwich. No.
I mean, I recommend this movie. Do you guys recommend it?
Yeah, I think it's fun. I think it's a good put that on late at night, stay home, and enjoy.
Next October comes around.
Oh yeah,
I could see it being on Shudder or something. Like that
definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe some other TV channel or Hulu or something like that too. But
and I really hope that this team gets another shot at a different movie, like a prequel or something like that. Like that'd be awesome. Supermoon Year One or something like that.
Yeah,
So then another film that Watson recently saw was Y2K.
Oh yeah, now this was a lot of fun too. Yeah, kind of same kind of vein. Lots of practical effects. A lot of fun. It's a movie that knew exactly what it was.
Right.
Which was a very tongue-in-cheek kind of like take Superbad and like
Overdrive.
Overdrive. Yes. Yeah. Like those movies kind of slam them together. So
because I got the Overdrive vibe.
Absolutely.
I thought it was like a disaster film. Y2K happens, now they got to figure it out.
No, I wish.
But then I saw the robots
there's a lot
coming in with like weapons. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Overdrive.
So it starts off following
Maximum
this
Overdrive,
group of high school kids.
Yeah.
You've got the main actor and like his little friend who's very much is the kid from Deadpool 2. And they're just like, oh my god, like you got this date with this, this girl that he talks to on a like a chat room site kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's all set in 99.
Yeah.
And, it's the end of the school year, and they're going to go to the big party, the New Year's party kind of thing. And, like, all he wants to do is make out with this girl at the New Year's party. Like, his whole plan is to go to the party so he can get a kiss from this girl. And, like, it's very, like, super bad in that. Like, oh, let's go get some beers and, stuff like that. And they go to the party. You meet a bunch of characters on the way. Like, there's, like, one, like, kid who's, like, she's, like, on ecstasy and stuff like that. And, like, this group of, like, rap rock kids are, like, bullies. And, you start building all these, like, relationships up and, like, everything. And then they show up at this party. And, stroke of midnight happens.
Yeah.
And, the power goes out. And you're like, oh, no, okay. And then suddenly, like, it becomes a horror movie. Like, straight-up horror movie where, all the technology, everything that has connection to the internet kind of, like, grabs other pieces of technology and, like, globs together to become these kind of, like, little robots and stuff. So you got, like, a Tamagotchi head on this, like, power saw, bad guy. And they're taking out kids left and right. And, like, even the best, friend gets taken out. And you're like, oh, shit. And then, it becomes this kind of fight for survival of these kids. And they, they run to, they hear about this party that's happening up at this, like, steel mill kind of thing that has no internet stuff. So, like, let's go there. So they run there. And they run into a bunch of hippies that don't really know what's going on. And then, there's a lot of weed smoke, stuff like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of fun. The one, so a couple of the kids in the movie are these big rap rock fans, and that they love Limp Bizkit, and you do get a very fun appearance of the lead singer for Limp Bizkit. What the fuck's his name?
Fred Durst.
Fred Durst is in this movie.
No way.
As Fred Durst.
Yeah.
Because they're like, you hear on like the radio, like Limp Bizkit's supposed to have a concert.
But
down
it
the street.
takes place in 2000.
Yeah,
it's
so
like 2024. Fred Durst.
Exactly. Exactly. So he's all shaved. He's got, and basically Fred Durst is the one that saves the world in the end.
It's like 55-year-old Fred Durst.
Oh my God.
That makes sense
That's
now
great.
because Fred Durst and Kyle Mooney did a Hot Ones back and forth.
Okay. Yeah. Kyle Mooney is the writer-director of this.
Yeah.
And and he's in it too. He plays like a real stoner guy who runs a video store kind of thing. Who gets, like they're up against this giant robot. And he's like, I'm gonna take out this robot. And he's got like the little magic sticks kind of thing. The sticks with the stick in the middle. He's use them as like Tom Fizz or something. And then the robot just like cuts his head right off. It's like ridiculous.
Fred Durst.
Yeah. Oh no, the
Kyle Mooney. Oh.
Oh no.
Yeah, all right. Sorry. So then basically it just comes down to this AI has kind of taken over this small town. They're going to expand to the other towns unless the main lead girl who the guy's in love with can kind of hack the system, like she's a good hacker kind of thing. So she can take out the mainframe kind of thing. So it's dumb.
Do they ever explain why the machines all of a sudden turn on people? Just because?
It's just because they fucking hate people. Like
Maximum overdrive.
Yeah, exactly. Of just like, you guys use this
machine revolt.
They basically, it's the beginning of the internet. So they're like, look, you just use the internet to look at porn and, and talk shit. So it's like, that's what we've learned. So it's a lot of fun though. It's funny. It's got yet again a lot of heart. Practical effects, like all the computer stuff,
awesome.
like all the computer. There's one where one of the robots has like a Mac Pro, the colored Mac computers is like the head. And the lead kid's like, that's my computer, like, and they start like having this little like, remember, like, you and me are buddies kind of thing. So it's funny. It's a good little film and like great soundtrack. 'Cause it's all 99 peak stuff. So there's some deaths that are just so ridiculous. This one guy who's like the skater kid kind of bully, and he's like, all right guys, we're gonna take out the robots and stuff, and they're like trying to find ways to get to the steel mill without using anything with any technology, right? So they're all grabbing like skateboards and scooters and stuff, and he's like, give me those rollerblades. He puts on the rollerblades and he's getting ready to leave, and he sees there's like a little ramp that's going up the side. He's like, fuck it, and he goes up the ramp, immediately eats shit and slams his head on the ground and dies. Like, it's just so out of nowhere. And you're just like, oh, fuck. Like, that's how he goes out. It's so dumb. But, yeah, I mean, a lot of fun. Good movie.
Awesome, man.
I had a good time.
The trailer looked really good.
It's a lot of fun. Yet again, it's like really just like dumb comedy, kind of, you know. But it is like, yeah, let's just take the super bad and just throw it into a horror film.
Yeah,
and Maximum Overdrive it and see how it goes.
Also, it felt from the trailer. It felt very Small Soldiers, the way they were putting themselves together.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like, that's cool.
Yeah, and there's a lot of fun stuff with the practical stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I see some of them like buzzsaws on them on their hands.
Exactly.
Like buzzsawing people.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's great. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're talking Maximum Overdrive. There's a comet that passes through Earth, and all of a sudden, all the machines.
Right.
This is obviously before the internet. Every single piece of machinery comes to life and hates humans, and it's just
directed
like
by a very coked out Stephen King.
And there's no explanation for it, and then there's this giant semi with the Green Goblin's head on it that's the leader.
What makes that thing famous.
And that's it. Yeah. Great. And that's all the explanation we need. All right. Well, cool. Yeah, I definitely want to check it out.
Yeah, Y2K. Check it out.
I definitely want to check it out. And we also watched Creature Commandos, right?
The new show on Max.
I haven't watched any episodes.
Beginning of the new DCU that James Gunn wrote and directed. Every one of these, didn't direct, but wrote all these episodes.
No, I haven't yet. I've been.
Dude, it's fun. Like no joke. Like there's been 2 episodes I've cried at.
Really?
Yeah. Like they've taken these really dumb characters of, so I guess they're still keeping a little bit of the Snyderverse DCU stuff because they've got from Gunn's The Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
is very much a part of this. So.
Yeah, I heard that, and then Peacemakers. Is a part of it.
Yeah, so you've got Amanda Waller.
Yep,
is in this, and because did you watch Peacemaker season 1?
Yes.
So the ending of that was her daughter was the one that exposed the Suicide Squad program.
Yeah.
Right. So Waller's not allowed to use human subjects anymore for Task Force.
Oh wait, so this is present day. I thought this was.
No. This is set like present day.
Okay, because I thought Frank Grillo was.
He is playing Rick
the
Flag
dad.
Senior, yes, and they do explain that like he was like 19 when he had Rick Flag Jr.
Oh, okay.
So he's like, yeah, my kid. He was, I was barely out of my teens when I had him, and he went into the military and he died on a dumb mission.
Yeah.
So that's very much a part of that storyline.
Oh, okay.
And so it ties really well into the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker.
Okay.
So Amanda Waller can't use human subjects anymore. Mm-hmm. So she is like, well, I've got these non-human subjects that defy. The U.S. government doesn't really know. So you've got the Bride, which is the Bride of Frankenstein. Mm-hmm. You've got a GI robot in there. Mm-hmm. You got Weasel. You've got Dr. Phosphorus, done by Alan Tudyk, who's great. And they're all band together to protect a princess. They have this princess in this other country who is getting attacked by Circe, the Themysciran witch.
Yes.
Mm.
So they do bring up Themyscira. They don't say Wonder Woman. They don't bring up Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
But they do talk about this island of Amazons and stuff like that. And this witch is attacking this sovereign nation. So we're going to go to... And, of course, it's a nation filled with oil. So that's why Amanda Waller wants to make it in her interest to keep it safe. So, you go there and with this team that really don't like each other, don't know each other. Rick Flag Sr. is now in charge of the team. And within each episode, you do get a flashback of their, background and everything. The Bride of Frankenstein. It's very much like what was the Emma Stone movie? The Pretty Darlings? What was that one?
You talking where she's that robot thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So it's very much like that, where she, her backstory is like she's put together by Dr. Frankenstein because Frankenstein wants a bride, and she is very much just like a baby kind of thing. And Dr. Frankenstein is like, you can't she can't love you yet. I gotta, work with her. And as he works with her, they kind of fall in love. And Frankenstein's monster just kills Dr. Frankenstein out of jealousy. And that's like Frankenstein's monster storyline is just like he's been chasing her through time, like for like hundreds of years.
Oh, really?
Because he loves her. He's like, you love me, and she's like, get the fuck out of here.
Oh, wow.
You have the story of G.I. Robot, which is one of my favorite episodes. I think it's episode 3 or 4, which talks about his backstory of like he working with Sergeant Rock and Easy Company to kill Nazis. Like he's built to kill Nazis.
Yeah.
So then the war ends. What do you do with a robot that just wants to kill Nazis?
There's plenty of Nazis left still,
right? So like he does go like, and he's this automaton who like, you see like Dr. Will Magnus who creates the Metal Men in like the 60s taking him apart. Like, I'm going to look at your insights to see how you work. And he's just like, can we kill Nazis yet? Can we kill like, that's all he wants to do. That's his drive. And like, they ask him like, well, what do you want out of all this? And he's like, I just want to be with my boys at Easy Company, and go kill Nazis. Like that was like the peak of his character arc is like, that's what he loves doing. So, like, you see, like, when he's fighting with Rick Flag Sr., Rick Flag's like, he's like, are those guys Nazis? And Rick Flag's like, yeah, Robot. Yeah, Robot, those are Nazis. And you just see him like, yay! As he's, like, murdering. It's so good.
I guess there was
It's one of my favorite episodes.
A freeze frame or a still shot from probably that episode or another episode, but it's a close-up on G.I. Robot's eyes. It's like, and he's like squinting. He's like, that sounds like something a Nazi would say. And I was like, that's
he's
hilarious.
Constantly thinking everyone is a Nazi. Yeah, it's brilliant.
That's great.
And then they just did the episode with the backstory of Weasel.
Oh, really?
So Weasel from the Suicide Squad is in this, and in the Suicide Squad, it's like a throwaway line. They're like, this is Weasel. He's killed like 27 kids.
Yeah. And
they do the backstory of that experience, and it's fucking brutal. It makes you cry. It's so good.
So I would assume they disprove that.
Yeah, I mean it's very much
because they can't have him starting a show when he's murdering children. So.
Yeah. So it's like mistaken identity kind of deal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
kind of deal.
Yeah. But it's a really good show. It's really funny. I mean the animation, the soundtrack is fucking great because James Gunn knows music.
Yeah.
And it's like it's all scored to like I don't know if you know the band Gorgo Bordello. It's a like gypsy punk.
No.
Oh man, I love their band. I've seen them live a bunch, but it's like gypsy punk music. So it's like a lot of like accordions and a lot of crazy gypsy themes.
Oh, nice.
So that scores most of the series.
That's cool.
And the animated fight scenes are fucking top notch.
Okay.
Yeah, and like there's a fight scene with like Dr. Phosphorus and Rick Flag, which is so good. Because Dr. Phosphorus can just burn anything he touches. And like Rick Flag and him just go at it. And it's great. It's great.
His model reminds me of Blight from Batman Beyond.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So
like that's because he's an old school Batman villain.
Yeah.
So I think Blight was kind of based on him. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, and just great voice cast and knowing that they're using this voice cast they want to use him for live action. Like Frank Grillo is going to be in the Superman movie as Rick Flag Sr. So like I love this kind of like, hey, like with this DCU, if you're in this animated series, more like like they just announced a Clayface movie. And Alan Tudyk is the voice of Clayface in Harley Quinn, and I believe in this as well. So it is likely he might play it in the movie. So
and he would be a good choice.
So. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah. Well,
so check it out.
Cool. Yeah, I know. I definitely I've heard good things about it, and I do want to check it out. I was a little apprehensive at first. I was like, I don't
You're
know
gonna
what this
love
is.
the GI Robot episode. I think that one's gonna get you.
All right, probably.
Just some of the stuff is ridiculous.
Cool. And the other thing that speaking of James Gunn DC, we recently had the Superman teaser trailer drop. Wow. I mean, just wow.
What's your thoughts?
So, I mean, when it first started, for everybody who's seen it, we open with Superman who's bleeding in the snow.
Yeah.
It looks like he tried to retreat to the Fortress of Solitude, wasn't able to quite make it, and collapses in the snow, midair into the snow, and he calls Crypto to come get him, his dog, and it's like, wow, okay. I was like, ooh, how's this gonna go? Because as much as I like James Gunn's previous things, one of my issues with him is he takes a joke sometimes way too far. You know, like I liked Peacemaker a lot, but there were moments in that show where it's like you don't have to do a joke every single line is a joke.
Yeah.
And sometimes they went on for way too long, and I was just like, all right, that's enough. Move on. I get it. It's not even that funny. And on a rewatch, the problem with those jokes is that if they don't land, they're not going to land the second time. And if they bomb the first time, they're going to bomb even worse. So you're like, oh my God. So like a rewatch of those shows is an issue if the jokes are too much or they're not good enough, you know?
I'd agree with that statement, except for, because I felt the same way until Guardians 3. And he did that so well with the whole Rocket storyline and kept it very earnest.
Yeah.
And very like, you know, like this is about like, you know, almost like parental abuse with him and that whole storyline. It's like, because those movies can be very jokey, and a lot of Marvel movies are very jokey and won't sit on an emotion. They'll always go for like, and then we'll give you an emotion, and then there'll be a joke
right.
afterwards.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because like he's very good at just telling a straight story, like with the Rocket storyline. Yeah. But then maybe he's like trying to compete with like Seth, not Seth, what's his name? From Buffy the Vampire Slayer,
Sam Raimi.
Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon, yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's like is he trying to compete with Joss Whedon when it comes to jokes? I don't know. And like some of them are like crude, and I'm not having a problem with crude humor, but it has its place, and if you overuse it, it just becomes really stupid.
Well, it's funny because they are buddies.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and that's why, like in Angel, there's a character called Gunn,
right?
Who's named after
exactly. So I don't know if that's what it is, but anyhow, going back to the trailer, like. So when I saw Crypto, I was like, oh shit, where's this going?
Right.
But then it kept going into, okay, it's no jokes. There was, aside from, I guess Crypto wasn't even that much of a joke. It was kind of like, oh, that's different. We know he's in the comic forever. First time we see him on screen, which is great. And then it just kept going into like this no dialogue whatsoever. It's just we see Clark going about his life. We see a very brief shot of him with what we assume is his father. Then we see the kid this is where it really begins to get to me. Like I was getting emotional watching it. That kid who knows what's going on. There's some kind of chaos or problem going around him, and he's holding up that flag with the Superman logo on it, and he's like kind of praying like Superman. And then it just kind of goes into different sections of the movie. Him flying around. We see Lex Luthor, and then in the background you hear this like slow rise of people chanting Superman, Superman, and it's just like, oh. It really got to me. I think I don't know, because obviously he already caught a little bit of shit. The movie caught a little bit of shit. James Gunn caught a little bit of shit because like he really set still of what looked like Brainiac attacking the Earth, and like Superman's like putting on his boot, like I'll be right with you, bro. It's just like people are like, what the oh shit, and so we already were kind of thrown off a little bit by it. People were also been complaining about the actor himself. He doesn't compare to Henry Cavill, but come on, and I still to this day believe Henry Cavill got screwed. I think that he should have been Superman. In my ideal, it's Christopher Reeves and Henry Cavill. There's been other people who've betrayed him, obviously, and they've done an amazing job, but it's those two in my mind. I don't know how this guy's going to be. From the trailer, it looks really good, and it gives me hope. So those are my thoughts on it. And I'll watch it again and still get like emotional at like the. How quickly they're showing Superman, and how that chanting is really doing it for me.
Well, to do with David Cornsweet, the new Superman, I just listened to. He has a podcast that he does with some friends.
Yeah.
And listen to him on it. Like he does take this very seriously, which I like to hear.
Thankfully, yes.
I just heard a thing where he was talking about like originally when they were gonna do the suit, they weren't gonna do trunks. And he was the one that was like, no, Superman should wear trunks. And his whole story behind it, like his character story, was that Superman is a character who wants kids not to be scared of him. So he dresses up like a wrestler.
Right.
And you go, okay, it kind of makes some kind of logical sense, So, I like that he's like giving ideas to those little details,
Well, and like there's this thing, and we've seen it a million times, where they are constantly moving away from the source material and from what makes us love comic books in general. Like they'll take what the character looks like and completely invert it. Right. Speaking of Henry Cavill, Zack Snyder's a little guilty of this. Yeah. Marvel's guilty. They're all guilty of it to an extent, But Zack Snyder's Superman was this like dark, gritty, woe is me character. I think Henry Cavill did a great job with it. I still think Man of Steel was a great film, but Superman is the ultimate Boy Scout. Like that's what he is in the comics.
What bugged me the most in Man of Steel was there's the one line where Paul Kent, he's like, Paul, should I just let those kids die? Yeah. And he was like, maybe you should have. And I was like, that's not the lesson.
That's not
Superman
the Kents.
should have learned from his dad.
That is not the Kents. Exactly.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel that's where it veered in terms of like storyline for Superman.
Yeah, I mean, because it's a powerful moment. It's a powerful line because like Clark is his dad is trying to tell him to keep his superpowers in check and not reveal who he is because he's afraid of what's going to happen to him, which is a legitimate thing to be worried about. But yeah, it's like that's not what the Kents. That's why Superman is who he is, because the Kents are like. Luckily, he was found by the most amazing people, on Earth. Yeah. Who raised him to be a great person. Yeah. Now I'm getting emotional thinking about it.
I know.
And he's like he's supposed to be this like great character that we all can look up to. He's supposed to be like he's literally is powered by the sun because he is the light. And so I'm glad that it seems that James Gunn is taking that aspect of Superman, which we've all kind of been like, to an extent, robbed of in the last couple of years. It's always been like, for some reason, this dark, gritty, like sad character.
Well, I mean, yet again, you're right. I think Cavill was robbed of a second movie that would have expanded his role as Superman more, before throwing him right into like Justice League and Batman v Superman, where it's like at that point, like they're like, I think in Batman v Superman, they're even talking about like the world is sick of Superman. It's like, he's not even been Superman for like 5 minutes.
Well, I mean, there's a shot in the trailer, in the teaser trailer, where someone throws a can at the back of his head.
Yeah.
Because,
in the new one.
Yeah, something. Yeah, so he's like his costume looks different too.
I mean, there's a lot of Zack Snyder versus defenders out there who've been posting pictures of
the side by
side, and I do see the similarities. I mean, I can't say they're wrong, but I mean, you do see that. This one's much lighter and brighter story.
I love the soundtrack being used. Does feel like a nice mix of the classic Williams. I mean, it's the classic Williams score.
Absolutely.
But it's kind of done in the Hans Zimmer style of like Man of Steel.
Right, yeah, it's a guitar.
It's like they did kind of meld it together.
Yeah.
And that score, every time I hear it, man, I always like, holy shit, man. It hits me right.
I know there's a lot of people that are like, oh, they should do something new. But I'm like, man, that thing is just so...
Imagine we see... Because we haven't heard it for so long in the Superman movie. Do you imagine we hear that and we see...
They threw it into the Flash movie for a little...
Well, I will say... I will say, as I love the John Williams theme. It's hard to beat. But a close second is the Superman theme from the 90s cartoon. Where it's like, so there's So I mean, if they were going for a new theme and it was in between those two, I'm fine with it.
There's a great scene in where Lobo makes the Lobo episode, the collector episode, I should say. Yeah. Where he throws Superman into that like atrium to preserve him. And he's lost his powers because he's been away from the sun for so long.
Yeah. Yep.
And they throw him in it's like a replica of Earth and the yellow sun.
Yeah.
And he's standing there just like, and and you see him like close his fist, and the bad guy's like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And he just like flies out. Oh, it's so good. Yeah. And you hear that score playing in the back as he's flying through. Oh, it's so good.
So good.
But yeah, I mean, that's the 90s Superman, I think, was probably the closest to maybe what the comic books were supposed to be like, to an extent. Well, other movies have taken their different turns on it,
right?
And they've been pretty good. But I mean, again, going back to what Superman or the Superman that we got from the latest WB show as well, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
he's
great.
The thing with Superman is because like I was watching when they were talking about, I forget what documentary it was, or it was just extra on the DVD probably, of them creating the 90s Superman cartoon. And they were like, how do we get this to work where Superman is so powerful that we want to not make him so boring because he could just solve anything.
Right.
So what they did was it's more about the ensemble and the people around him.
Yeah.
And they kind of lessen his powers a bit so he can be knocked back, but he's still so strong.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they kind of took the Fleischer cartoon style, like the 1940s cartoon.
Right.
But I think, like, since James Gunn, he's very good with an ensemble, that he's including that into this, and he knows it's like this is not just Superman; it's the people around him that make him Superman.
Yeah,
right,
I mean,
exactly.
you already
And
see a lot more of the Daily Planet staff.
Yeah.
In this, I mean, there's people that are in the comic books are in this, and also we get some Justice League members. Like this is a world where Superman is not the first hero,
and which I love that. I'm also very curious of the plot, only because some of the shots they showed were very different in time. Like he's leaning over a robot in the snow, and that's his like Superman robot from his base.
Yeah.
And so it's like, all right, well, if we already have that, so
I think kaiju in there.
We're probably not going to get the
giant lizard.
Well, they're probably skipping the whole Krypton exploding, and he's already on Earth, and he's probably.
I don't think we're going to get an origin story.
If anything, it'll probably be flashbacks of different things, maybe, because it showed some other things where, like, I mean, obviously, there's a shot where the people are amazed by Superman in the sky, and I was like, they shouldn't be because you have all these other superheroes, so. I think that might be a flashback as well, if anything, because why would they be shocked?
I kind of feel like they're going to show up on Earth because of the threat that he's facing.
Well, I mean, the those other guys. I mean, Mr. Terrific. He's not from space. He's from Earth.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, so there's other heroes currently. So
right.
I just don't think. I want to see why they're amazed by Superman, if anything, because like, if I see people running at speed of light and things like that, or
I mean,
I don't know.
Everyone they picked is that Justice League. You got Hawk Girl, Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific. None of them have like super strength.
That's true.
It's true. Like it might take all three of them to hold like a plane in the air or something. While Superman could probably just do it with one hand.
So maybe if the shot he is like holding something or just saved the bunch of them below or something.
Yeah.
Like that. But it's just I hope it's not that they're like completely befuddled by.
But you're right. Like it's interesting that we don't see anything of Krypton in the trailers. I haven't
and I don't think we need to because everybody knows.
But I haven't even heard of casting of like Jor-El or anything like that. Well, which when it was Russell Crowe was like big news.
If anything, I don't think this story needs to be about his past because they need to set where he is right now. Yeah, and so plus with all these other characters, that's going to be hard to put all that in. Yeah. So you want this good story, and it looked like Lex when he was pointing a gun, he might be wearing his purple shirt. I love his League of Doom days. So
I like
that should be interesting.
Nicholas Hoult as Lex is a great casting choice. Yeah, I think he looks great.
He does look good.
He looks really good.
We get a little shot of like Metamorpho in there, and there's like.
I thought that was someone else first. And
a lot of people thought it was like Brainiac online, and it's like no, that's Metamorpho.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited to see where this goes.
Yeah, me too.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm very excited, and I'm glad that it seems like he's taking this seriously, which I'm very proud of.
Yeah, and let's not have Zod or Doomsday show up, please.
Yeah. Immediately, exactly.
Also, I wasn't able to jump in while you were talking, but when you were talking about the James Gunn jokes. He kind of, or at least I've noticed, he goes heavy with the jokes when it's a certain character. Like with Chris Pratt, obviously he's going to be joking a lot. Right, yeah. That's just part of his
strength, yeah.
And some characters avoid dramatic experiences through humor, so that's why it's obviously he does that. But, I mean, he in the past movies he's done, it's been heavily with jokes. But I think he, like in... I forget. Did he produce the Evil Superman movie? That one with the bug kid?
Oh yeah,
he didn't direct that, right?
No, he did. I think he wrote the script.
Yeah, and there was rarely any jokes in that. That was dark as shit.
Sunshine? No, what was the name of that?
I forget the name of the movie.
Yeah,
it was where it was pretty much the Superman story. He came.
Yeah, he was a little kid that suddenly like learns that he's got superpowers, but he's like evil.
Yeah.
Oh, Brightburn?
Yes,
Brightburn. Yeah. I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah, Brightburn. That was it.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was a good one.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I think that was James Gunn wrote it.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, I mean...
Because it's part of his universe. At the end, they show all the other, like, Slither and things like that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it... let me see. Did he write Brightburn? Let me look that up. I think he did. I think you're right. Brian Gunn and Mark Gunn.
So
produced by James Gunn.
Gunn Brothers?
Produced by James Gunn.
Bang, bang.
So his maybe brothers or cousins? I don't know. He's
if
like,
his production company is not
Yeah,
called
it's his
Bang
brother.
Bang, I don't know
Yeah,
why.
I mean, that's
his
true.
What are you
brother,
doing?
yeah, his brothers wrote it, but he produced it. Okay, interesting. Yeah, but no, I'm excited. I think the Superman trailer looks great, and I got pretty emotional watching it. So
Yeah, I saw people online like breaking down. Yeah, they saw
man.
Crypto, like when he's like whistles and he's like, "Take me home."
Yeah.
Like people were like bawling.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
good dog.
If anything, I want the banter from Lois and Clark. I need that because we didn't get that in Man of Steel.
Yeah.
And I like his look as Clark. Like I know he's got like kind of just messy hair.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, he looks different enough.
Definitely.
I mean,
Definitely,
it works because it's modern
Right.
and he could be a disheveled nerd. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't have
Cavill
to
just
be
kind of
all
looked the
together.
same.
Well, I mean, he didn't get to be Clark really.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
That's
didn't
a
really
good point.
I didn't really take it seriously there.
Yeah.
So I was like, eh.
Yeah. And the other thing, speaking of just cruel stuff that's been coming out lately, Collider Secret Level.
Oh yeah, we went to this awesome screening.
Yes. This is a series created by Tim Miller for Amazon Prime. It basically takes different video game properties
Yeah.
and just creates little vignettes for each of them.
Yeah, these little short.
Yeah, 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
All pretty much all the same animations, computer generated. Because these guys worked on a lot of video game.
Yeah, Tim Miller owns Blur Studios,
Right.
which do a lot of video game cinematics,
yes.
and worked on, they had he did the Batman Arkham Origins trailer where it's little boy Bruce that sees his parents.
Oh, he did that?
He did that.
Wow, that was
It's
really
like
good.
one of the best Batman pieces I've ever seen.
Which one is that?
It's for Arkham Origins. It's a little.
Is this where he ages,
commercial-
Bruce?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you see him like taking
Getting
the punch
punches,
and then
yes.
getting older. That's
you see the
Tim
flash.
Miller.
You see the flash, and then you see him
That's-
getting punched.
That's Tim Miller.
and then you
directed
see him
that.
with the fucking yes,
Yeah.
that is so good, dude.
It blew me away.
it's so
and
good,
then when
yeah.
I was like, that guy's doing Deadpool, I was like, oh shit. Like
Yes.
that guy knows comic books.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
knows
exactly. Yeah.
storytelling and doing it in a condensed amount of time. And that's what I
Yeah.
loved about Secret Level
Uh-huh.
is you could do an 8-minute Mega Man episode and it like kills.
Yeah.
And then you could do an 18-minute, a Warhammer episode, and it's amazing. It's all over the board. I love the different styles of animation that they did because everything wasn't exactly the same.
No.
You could do something stylized like
Different art. Yeah.
Sifu and and then do super ultra realistic looking like the Armor Core one.
Yeah.
I like that they were able to play around with storytelling, play around with different. Some of them are very funny, some of them are humorous, some of them are will make you cry, like the Exodus episode.
Yeah.
Oh man, like with the time dilation made me cry. Like I was like, oh my god, like I love the short story kind of aspect of it. Of like, look, we can just cut all the fat away. We don't need to do 22 minutes episodes. Like we can just, some of them will just be, 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will get the story all across.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dig it. And we were very lucky to get go to this screening. So they screened the last 6 episodes, is it?
Yeah,
like something like that on a big
7.
screen, on the big screen with the Q&A.
Tim Miller was there.
Yeah, with the director and the producers.
Yep.
And we talked about they did get greenlit for a second season. So
Right.
congratulations on
They
that.
said that they got greenlit very quickly. Usually they don't. It takes a couple months for them to hear back, but they got almost immediately. They got an answer back.
I mean, but the good and bad of that is they do talk about and Tim Miller's all about the quality of the work.
Right.
So he's like, it's not going to be a quick turnaround for a second
Which is
season
fine.
because
Yeah.
he's like, I think they said that over 2,000 people work on this show alone.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of people just to get this kind of product out there because of how much, this because they want it to be high quality. They want it to look the best. They want the scripts to be great. And so it takes time. That's, and just getting this show going. They said it took about 4 years.
Yeah.
Because you got to cut through all the legal red tape. Because you got to go to each one of these studios that own these properties. You got to go to Capcom. You got to go and be like, can we play with your toys?
And it seems like he said that took longest of anything else. Obviously, because it's like these companies are going to protect their.
And like he was like, I want to do a Borderlands episode. I want to do a Halo episode. It's like, of course I want to go up to the big guys.
He was asked like, "Did you go to Nintendo?" And he's just like, he just like shrugged his shoulders like. I'm not denying or confirming that.
Yeah,
you know,
but then
obviously he did. But I'm sure Nintendo was like,
yeah.
Who are you?
And a lot like Nintendo's got a whole deal with Universal, so I'm sure that's like Universal going like, no, you can't, you know. And
well, like he even said, the people who did Borderlands, I think it was 2K. And he went to them, but they said no. And then, like after their show came out, he got a call. It's like, "Hey, you can do Borderlands."
Yeah, because the movie did not do well.
Yeah, exactly. And they have a new game coming out, so that would be.
It would have been a good tie-in.
Would have been great tie-in, man. Yeah. But I mean, the stories are very impressive, solid writing. Like you said, there's no fat. It's just 10, 15 minutes of just let me tell a quick story using your intellectual property. But doing it really well, man.
Yeah.
You know, even
and not
the Spelunky
doing it the way
episode,
you expect either. Like,
man.
Like going kind of wild with it where, I mean, they have a Pac-Man episode, which fucking scared the shit out of me. It was so good.
But you said that he was told just make it weird by the Pac-Man people?
Basically the guys who Capcom, no, it's not Capcom. I forgot Atari or whoever owns Pac-Man was just like, you know, don't make it your standard.
Bandai.
Yeah, Bandai, that was it. It was like,
Bandai.
You know, don't do a regular thing. And boy, he went balls to the wall.
Yes, he did. You know? That's a pretty terrifying episode. Yeah,
because it's like when you get to the mechanics of the game and what the game truly is, of like eat or be eaten.
Yeah,
that is the game. Yeah, right. Like you're this little guy and you're just going around eating everything. And in the cartoon, you know, it's just this the idea of you're kind of stuck in this labyrinth maze. You know, with these quote unquote ghosts hunting you. And you have to eat everything you see. Yeah, it's really fucked up.
Yeah, it was. It's definitely like one of the most disturbing episodes.
Like the line that
series.
always is because they see a ghost and he's like, "Oh my god, can I eat those?" And the Pac-Man Puck is kind of like this like AI that's following the guy around. He's like, "Oh, you can eat the ghost, but never the eyes."
Yeah,
and you're like, "Oh, yeah, it's fucked up."
Even the Spelunky episode was pretty interesting.
Spelunky was great
because it's like this little girl who's like constantly dying through the mazes, and she's like, "Oh, at the beginning, she's like, yeah, okay, it's my 50th time dying. So what?" And she just keeps dying. But then the older character that's in there, it's like, well, every time you die, you lose something, and you don't come back exactly the same. And so, like toward like her 80th like death, she's like, "Oh, I'm tired."
Just hollow
like, it's just like I'm losing something, and it doesn't feel great. So, but I mean, it's.
But it is like playing a video game.
Exactly.
Like you play a game over and over, especially like back in those old games where it's just like there's no save point.
Right.
You just got to go back and do the level again,
all over again.
Kind of know where the traps are, you know.
Except I'm not hollow. I'm just angry. I'm like, mother.
Right. But they make a point in the episode of saying like, no, it's every time you do that, it's a new adventure.
Right.
And I'm like, God damn it. That's why we play the games. That's why we stick through it.
And they have plenty of cameos in the.
Oh yeah, I mean, you had Keanu Reeves doing a voice in the Armored Core episode. You've got Schwarzenegger in there. You've got Kevin Hart. Yeah. I mean, just like great talent. Yeah. Throughout the whole thing.
And I love how like we always get these stories of Keanu Reeves, like the nicest guy in Hollywood. Yeah. And of course, you had a great story about Keanu Reeves and Armored Core because they did a lot of motion capture for a lot of these. So they had to actually have Keanu Reeves on set, moving around, to. And so he said that he called the guy up. He's like, "Oh yeah, man, I'd love to do it. I'd love to." He talked to Tim Miller. He's like, "I'd love to do it. Sign me up." And then Keanu Reeves like hurt his foot, and he was like, "Well, he's like, I could probably take it off for about 1 or 2 hours, my cast, and we should be okay. So I'll do what I can, And then he said he worked for like 15 hours straight without the cast, just moving around. Like, he's like, the guy's like a machine, dude.
Yeah. He's like, "You want to take a break?" He's like, no,
let's just keep going. And then he was like, Tim Miller had, first met him, and he was like trying to compliment him as one does, because of course Keanu Reeves was trying to be like, "Oh my God, Keanu Reeves, I love your work." And Keanu was like, "Let's just talk about what we want to do, man. Like, come on." It's because he doesn't like to be. I guess he doesn't like praise, No. Because he's he's just kind of a very.
I saw that he did an interview for Sonic 3, and the guy was trying to butter him up, and he was just like, "Let's just talk about Sonic."
Yeah, he's just a humble guy.
Yeah, I just want to talk about Shadow. He's awesome.
I would have loved to see Jim Carrey and Keanu Reeves like doing an interview together.
That'd been great.
Where they, see how they bounce off each other. That's true. But in the is it like, okay, since there's going to be a new season, is there a video game that you would love to see them do?
Well, no, go ahead. Well, I got my video game.
We went and we got a little our posters for the show signed, and I did kind of whisper in their ears, like, I really want to see a like dark and gritty version of Oregon Trail where everyone dies of dysentery.
Yeah.
But I would love to see something like Earthworm Jim.
Ooh.
That'd be awesome.
You know, just like a weird space odyssey with a worm in a big power suit.
You've seen the cartoon before, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But I think like Earthworm Jim would be a good
that'd
thing.
Be good,
That'd be a fun
good.
one.
You know, and you can kind of play around with all the craziness there. Because I was thinking Toe Jam and Earl, but no one knows what that is anymore.
Yeah. Elden Ring is an obvious one for me.
Oh yeah.
You know, they kind of they already have a Warhammer episode, which is probably pretty much the same and along the same vein. It's like kind of dark, like underworld, netherworld, you know. But also, like, I wouldn't mind seeing something like Conker's Bad Fur Day, if you remember.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah,
that'd be crazy.
You know, because there's a in Conker's Bad Fur Day, there's like a Saving Private Ryan, like Omaha Beach scene where you have to play. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. And so I wouldn't mind seeing something like that. Yeah.
Or him taking on the great giant poo.
Yes, the poo. Oh my god, yeah.
How about you? Anything?
I would, because I don't know when the live action movie is ever going to happen. Metal Gear. I want to see a Metal Gear.
Oh wow. Yeah, Metal Gear.
Because I think they would knock it out of the park.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, they would.
Although I would hope we would get an 18-minute episode instead of an 8, because that Mega Man one was such a tease.
Yeah. It really was, man. It really was. Everybody was like cheering when he first came on.
Yeah, when he started arming up.
Yeah.
Like,
and then it just cuts.
And it cuts,
like,
yeah. Which I wasn't surprised that was going to happen. I was like,
yeah.
okay, well, that makes sense, yeah.
But I wonder, you know, that was another thing I was wondering. They asked the question of, like, would you go back to any of those worlds that you already used in episodes?
Yeah.
And they said possibly. And I'm like, I wonder if, like, with the rights issues, like, if they're only allowed to do up to a certain thing with certain characters, or do they have those rights, you know?
Well, I'm sure with a lot of them, they got specific guidelines.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot do this, you can't do that.
Because even, like, the PlayStation episode, I was surprised that they showed, you know, you had God of War in there, you had the Colossus in there, you had, you know, Sackboy in there. They had a lot of PlayStation characters thrown in.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I wonder if they can do a God of War episode now, you know, because they can feature it.
That'd be awesome to see. Sorry, Chad.
Well, no, I was just saying with they probably have, you know, coming up with these short stories for each of these properties. They probably wrote more than one.
Yeah,
and like
I'm sure. Yeah.
If they sent them out to the studio and the studio's like, oh yeah, these are all good. Do this one though, and then, you know, if that turns out good, maybe we could look at the other one.
I was wondering if it went to a Q&A where we could have asked questions. I had the question of, like, do they come up with the scripts first and then ask the companies, or did they go to companies first to see which characters they could write scripts for? Yeah, kind of thing, you know.
True. And
chicken or the egg?
Chicken or But it would with the Sony one, I could see because they have a lot of at least they had the PlayStation All Stars video game, where it had all the Sony properties together battling each other. So I think Sony's a little more open to mixing their properties like that, other than
Capcom or
other
something
ones,
like that.
or something like that.
That's true.
Although I would love to see a Marvel vs. Capcom little short.
That'd be pretty dope. Yeah. Or Street Fighter one.
Yeah, Street Fighter.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's Collider. He said that we're probably going to see something about another 2 years, next couple episodes. So I'm pumped, man. And I hope they really get a lot more IPs interested in working.
It's one of my favorite new shows. I think it was so great. And I mean, like, is that Love, Death, and Robots is the other show they worked on?
Yeah, I loved it because when I was watching
good too.
Before I knew that who they were who had worked on this, I was like, this reminds me a lot of Love, Death, and Robots. And so, it turns out, it's the same people. Yeah, it makes total sense. Which is a great series, man.
And they pitched this to Netflix, and they said no because you know, Netflix didn't want to go through the hassle.
Right, that makes sense.
And Amazon's like, we got money,
which is weird because, like, you would think, like, well, it's all on them, I guess. You know, like, you make the deals and we'll review them.
Right.
You know, but I get it. Netflix is so big that they can kind of turn them down like that, I guess. They're probably regretting it now.
Yeah.
But and then just to pivot a little bit here, Chad, you recently watched The Brutalist.
Yes.
A 4-hour long movie.
Well, it was.
So go ahead and take us through all 4 hours, word by word. Act out all the scenes.
Well, first off, it's 3.5 hours.
3.5 hours. My bad.
There's an intermission.
Yeah,
so that's
did you have trailers beforehand?
Yeah.
They played Bugs Bunny beforehand.
You were there really? 4 hours.
So, like, well, it was a little short, and I forget if there was anything else played before, but no, It was really, really good. Like, I was worried, because I didn't watch any trailer or anything before that, so I didn't really know what I just knew it was going to be post World War II immigrant coming to America type of situation. And
Eddie Murphy. What are you doing?
Yeah. And I was just like, the cinematography was beautiful. It was just like,
this is Adrian Brody.
Adrian Brody, yes. Guy Pearce.
Yeah.
And
it's architecture.
It's another architecture film, right?
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's about that, but it's also like how connecting how artists and immigrants are like connected in a way. Their torture. I mean, not their torture. Their torment and the things they go through can mix and blend with each other, and that kind of works with Laszlo's character because he's both. He's an architect and he's an immigrant from I forget the specific country.
Czech Republic or?
Yeah, somewhere around there. No, wait, he's Hungarian. He's Hungarian. But he's a well-known architect over there in Europe, and he comes to America, and he's split up from his wife and niece, and they're stuck over there for a couple years. So you kind of like follow through with Laszlo Tot. I think I'm pronouncing the last name right, Tot, and you follow him for a bit when he's first here in America, working with a relative of his at a furniture company that he built up, and he's kind of using Laszlo to kind of work on some projects and things like that. And, things are just not, I mean, it's called The Brutalist because Laszlo follows a...
Brutalist architecture?
Yeah, brutalism, yeah. And, like, I forget I was looking up the definition, but I'm blanking on it completely because...
It's, like very,
simplistic,
like, square,
yeah,
simplistic, yeah.
But
like supposed to be, like, very imposing.
Yeah. But they can also withstand a lot and can
like a lot of like federal buildings in the 50s and 60s were built around brutalist architecture
and
a lot of like Soviet architecture as well.
And like there's even a moment where he's describing where war is happening over there and my buildings are still standing. He's very proud of his work.
Right.
And
is this based on a real guy?
See, and that was at intermission, I asked my friends, I was like, is this real story? And they were like, no, this is completely made up.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And I was like, it was written so well that I could actually believe that he existed because like, it was just like, it was really good. And, he comes across Guy Pearce's character who's like this capitalist type of figure, kind of modeling the modern era of America that we're coming into after the war. That's just very bad and toxic, and you could tell you kind of think he's a little interested in the action, but it's really just a facade of him just like, I want to own it. I don't really care about the meaning behind it, but I mean, you kind of think he is by the playful dialogue that he has back and forth with Laszlo. But at times you can tell he cares more about money and other things like that and power.
Right.
And
call me Chad Capitalism.
Yeah. But Guy Pearce is great too. Like I see both of them. I think they are probably both being nominated for a lead and then support. But everyone's so good in this. It leads all the way up to, I think, early 70s, and then it jumps to an epilogue at the end, kind of like near the end of his life. And because it's just, he goes through very traumatic. He's like addicted to drugs. While he's there, he gets into heroin, and you see are you guys planning to watch it? I don't know if you care.
I mean, I really like Adrian Brody as an actor.
Yeah.
And I saw the trailer for this and I was like, I'm interested, but then I didn't know it was as long as it.
Yeah, I mean, no,
I was like, oof.
Yeah, is there an abridged version of this movie?
No, but like it's very visually like worth seeing on the screen. And if you don't, I get it. It's fine. But like it's worth checking out because
if I'm gonna watch one architecture movie, do I watch this or Megalopolis?
It's exactly when I saw the trailer of this. I was like, is this
while watching it, the way his character was so confident in like his architecture and what he wants done for this thing that he's building for Guy Pearce in the movie.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Adam Driver in Megalopolis, but I was like, this is so much better.
It's so weird that there's like two
you don't
movies.
Want Adrian Brody to stop time?
Yeah, there's 2 movies about.
Well, he probably does with the heroin.
And go to the club.
Yeah, he stops. Yeah, but yeah, it's weird that there's 2 movies about architects in the same year.
It's like The Raid and Judge Dredd, how it was like the same script almost.
Yeah. But like I don't know, you really feel for Adrian Brody in this because like you could tell he's like he goes full into when he starts this project, he slowly becomes more obsessed with it, and it's just like you could tell he's putting all of his past in there as well. So it's just like you could see that this is not going down a great road right now, and and like there's a part where I mean I'm gonna reveal like
no, it's fine.
They go to Italy to get this marble piece for the centerpiece of where they have this cross above the kind of monolith that they've created, where when the sun goes over it, it shines through the cross emblem and it projects on there.
Yeah,
and they're getting the marble piece for that, and like they end up going to a party in Italy, and late at night in these like caverns where the marble guy lives or whatever, in these caves, and Adrian Brody walks off, and he's like he shoots up, but gets very sick, and Guy Pearce is looking for him, and then he starts talking to him. He's like, why do you people do this to yourselves? Throughout the movie, you hear Guy Pearce talk about people indentured people being like tramps and just worthless people. It's like, why don't they? He does not care about them at all.
Right.
And so he's talking to him, and then as he's patting him on the back, you see him like undo his belt, and then he like pulls down Adrian Brody's belt, and he's like, he rapes him pretty much in the dark. And it was like, holy shit, this is a big turn here. And
this is a metaphor for capitalism.
and he's
fucking you artists.
While he's doing that, he's like, who do you think you are? Like he's saying, he's like, I'm the one who's in power here, type of. And like the next morning, you see like
it's a metaphor, get it?
Adrian Brody out of it, and he's like, oh, you were a mess last night. So and so had to carry you to your room and things like that. And I was like, oh,
yeah,
this is Jesus.
You wouldn't know.
And you could see that he did know he did know what happened to him, because it's affecting him as he's working on the building. He starts yelling at all these people, not being as kind, and it just doesn't turn out well. And like it kind of speeds up to the end of the movie where he and his wife, he kind of reveals what happens to him through his wife, but this is all under the circumstance of his wife has osteoporosis, and when she was able to come over to America, she's in a wheelchair because of it, because obviously they didn't have access to medicine or anything to help it, and so she gets in pain from time to time, and she takes this medicine, but they ran out, and he gave her some opium that he was. So I think it was more opium than heroin, because I don't know if they had exactly heroin at the time, but they were both shooting up in the bed, and then in the next morning, she's like, do you remember what you told me last night? You told me everything.
Oh, but happened. He was high.
Yeah, and he didn't. So, and then she knows the truth, and it's like, it is horrible here. Let's go back to our country. They don't want us here. This is a terrible place. And like she confronts Guy Pearce's character, just like, you're a rapist, and kind of it leaves room for imagination what happens to Guy Pearce's character, because he like disappears, and it's really you gotta see it, but it's very good. Like I really like it. And then like the epilogue, kind of like he's much older. Adrian Brody's like in a wheelchair, and his niece is much older, and she's talking about her uncle's work, and like they have it all like the models up and the pictures of his buildings, and it kind of just ends there. But it was just like, oh, okay, and like I forget what she says in the last few lines, but it's kind of speaking onto his artwork and how it's it's his life is put into it. It's not just buildings really.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, it's very. There was lots of metaphor in there and just allegory, and I like what they did. And
okay. All the buildings he built at the end, just like butts with wrecked assholes. I don't know why.
Well, but I mean, that's like it didn't happen any time before that. Yeah. So that's why it was just so weird that happened, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And but then it also it kind of shined a light on. There was an earlier scene with Guy Pearce's son and the niece, and you don't know what happened, but there might have been something that happened.
It's a power thing more than anything. Yeah,
they're very wealthy, and
it makes.
But
it makes sense. Yeah. But it's fucked up.
It's not obviously the happiest of films, but
Merry Christmas.
It's not Schindler's List. It's not that. So I mean, although we did see some trailers before the movie. I completely forgot now that they played like the trailer for Sophie's Choice.
Oh, wow.
And like some other ones.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense if it's kind of in that
vein. World War II.
Where did you see this? At
the Vista.
Yeah, that makes sense. So they do show like trailers and stuff before that, kind of in the same vein of what movie you're going to go see.
Yeah.
Get you in the mindset.
Yes.
Yeah. Sophie's Choices.
And then they show Bugs Bunny. So like before we after showing those trailers, here's a little Bugs Bunny to
go fuck you in the
ass. Was it
like
like a cartoon, a Bugs Bunny cartoon?
Yeah, it was like
the theaters used to do.
Yeah, like the new Bev does it too. Yeah. Because Tarantino owns both of them now. So
he loves a good cartoon.
Yeah. Yep. Also, Pam's Coffee. Delicious. Yes. I had a cup of coffee there. It was amazing.
Yeah, man, like that at the new Vista. Like I remember before he bought it.
How did you get it? What? How did you like it? Like, how did you get it served?
Hot.
In black?
Well, I mean, the coffee was called brown sugar.
There you go.
Like at the new Vista, I remember like before he bought it, there was these two, like there's the two, I guess, like retail stores on either end. And one was an old camera store, which shut down years ago before he bought it. And the other one was just shuttered. And I was like, every time I'd go there, I'd go, again, before he bought it. But I'd lose my mind because I was like, why isn't one a coffee bar and one a regular bar?
Right.
Coffee shop and a bar. That's what should be there.
Wow.
And what the fuck do you guys do? Whoever owns it, again, before...
Yet again, getting those permits in L.A. is
but for a coffee bar... But not necessarily, because beer and wine is pretty easy to get. You just apply for it and you get it. Yeah. And coffee is pretty simple.
And so it's like do all in one in that shop now.
Or, exactly. And it's just like, and I was, again, before Tarantino bought it, I was like, who the fuck owns this? Like, why? What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? One side should be a coffee shop. The other side should be a bar. Too easy. Anyway, but I'm glad that's what he's doing now. It makes total sense.
It's nice. It's pretty cool in there. They got a lot of paraphernalia of other movies and other things, and they have a little viewing room of videotape.
Oh, really?
Sets
that's
in there.
cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. What? Because I haven't been there. I've been there since he bought it, but not since they opened
the coffee shop.
Which side is which?
So
if I'm standing in front of the Vista, what is it?
I didn't see anything on the left side. I think it's just on the right side.
It's on the right. Okay.
Pam's coffee is on the right, and I don't know if there was anything on the left really.
They probably haven't done anything with it. That's where the camera shop used to be.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. I'd have to check it. Unless it's all boarded up right now, and maybe they are turning it into something. So the Pam's is you can get coffee and and alcohol in there. Cool, there's there's lots of like they have the coffee options, and then there's the food, and then there's the beer or wine you can get in there.
Cool. Yeah, because I've wanted to try it since I knew they're going to open it. I've always wanted. And last time I went, it wasn't. They already put everything in, but I guess they hadn't gotten the permits yet.
Yeah,
it wasn't open yet. Yeah. So
I mean, for years people have been asking him to do a real life Jackrabbit Slums.
I don't. I mean, that's pretty expensive. I mean, if he did like a pop up, it would probably be pretty good.
Yeah,
like for like a month or something, because you got to hire all the actors, you got to get food permits, all this bullshit. But yeah, it's like I always thought, like, well, real Jackrabbit Slums are pretty cool. At least for a pop-up.
Yeah. I mean, I know that for years people have been asking for them.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I mean, he doesn't even really have to, like, he can be so hands-off with it. He'd just be like, hire a project manager, and there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but
they have seasonal, like, coffee drinks in there, too, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I want to try it, man. I'm so glad it's open. I wanted to check it out since
I would definitely go back and have some coffee and a little pie there.
I had coffee this morning because I saw... It's a Wonderful Life at the Alamo downtown, Alamo Draft House, which it's my yearly movie. I watch it. I love that movie, and I watched it for the first time at the Alamo Draft House. And you can order food in there. You can, And I ordered a coffee, and it was because it started at 10:15 the movie, and I ordered a coffee, and the coffee was like, it was either like burnt or like had like kind of like a plastic smell taste. And I was like, I'm not sure if this is what this coffee's supposed to taste. I took a few sips. I was like, this doesn't taste right.
Yeah, it was probably yesterday's coffee.
Yeah, it's either burnt but also had like a plastic kind of taste to it. And I was like, I don't think
Looks like that barista won't get his wings.
Jimmy.
Sorry, I thought I'd interrupt there. Want to hear a poem about my dog, Bo?
Please. Yeah, Jimmy, you brought it up.
Once upon a time, I had a dog named Bo. He was ready to go to and fro. Only then did I know he was dead. At the door.
My God, that got dark quick.
That was a Dana Carvey bit where he was, and he just because he actually not Jimmy Stewart.
Dana Carvey.
No, Jimmy, the actual. Jimmy Stewart, then. Sorry, I was right. The actual Jimmy Stewart was on a talk show, and he did perform a poem named Bo. And I have found the poem before. I actually recorded me doing that on SoundCloud. You could hear it. And
there you go. Check it out.
Check it out. And then Dana Carvey spoofed it on SNL doing it, but then he would like just talk about his dog, and then it was like, he's dead as a door. Because I think the actual poem is about his dog, and he passed away and stuff like Jesus. That. So I was like, oh, okay. But so happy holidays.
Did you ever see the SNL where Jim Carrey was on?
Oh yeah,
he did a Jimmy Stewart
to the moon.
Hold on.
He's like talking out of his ass.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so funny. He's like trying to talk out of his ass.
Oh yeah, that's the Joe Pesci show.
Yeah.
And like I forget who's playing Jim Carrey in that.
It's
one of the other comedians.
Yeah, it's great because like there's a guy impersonating Jim Carrey, and Jim Carrey's impersonating Jimmy Stewart. It's so good.
Oh, it was one of the guys from the Canadian skit group. I'm thinking.
Oh, Kids in the Hall.
Kids in the Hall. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know he was in Superstore. But yeah, he was playing Jim Carrey, and then.
That's right. He wasn't like SNL.
For a little bit. Yeah. But that was a great skit.
Nice.
And then just to close it out, Watson wanted to talk about Absolute Batman and Wonder Woman.
So just to get into some reading, I did some reading. I got back into comic books. Recently, DC put out the Absolute title line, which is like
partnered with vodka.
Yeah, absolutely, kind of is. No, but it's basically like we're taking in the comic book storyline. It's like Darkseid has kind of created his own universes, which are like more extreme versions of characters. So we get Superman, there's Batman, and Wonder Woman. I picked up all three titles, and they're actually really good. Like Batman, it's Gotham, but Batman is a 20-something-year-old just giant dude who's has no money. He's not from money. He was an orphan, young age. His parents were teachers. And he's an engineer.
Didn't all the other students at the school are his rogues gallery? His villains?
Yeah. So it turns out like the home that he went to as a young boy after his parents got killed are like his buddies are like the Riddler, the Ozzy. You just see a picture of them all as kids like hanging out together.
That's awesome.
It's really well done, and yet again, it's like very like stripped down. Like Alfred has no connection to him. Alfred is like an MI6 operative who like gets sent to Gotham to take out the Batman.
Shit.
So it's really cool. It's very stripped down, and this Batman doesn't kill, but he's fine with like chopping off an arm or something.
Okay.
Because like his bat symbol is actually like the faceplate. It's like an axe head. So it's like he has an axe handle in his belt. And he pulls it out and like attaches it to the chest plate, and it pops out, and he just fucking.
Do you think they kind of like adapted that from the Batman movie? Because
a little bit, and like his ears on this helmet are actually knives, so he pulls out the ears, and you can use them as blades.
Interesting.
Yeah, so he's pretty brutal. Absolute Superman is one of my favorites. It's a Superman who he's kind of same story with the people of Krypton. But what you find out in Krypton, it's a class system planet. So, like, you've got, like, the science class.
Yeah.
And what you find is the Superman emblem, which everyone goes like it's hope and stuff. That's actually the symbol of the working man in Krypton. That's like the lower class.
Oh, cool.
So that's why he's like the Man of Steel, was because like his family are the steel workers of Krypton, basically.
Yeah.
So he actually like grew up as a young man in Krypton and gets sent to Earth maybe when he's like 13, 14. So he has this sense, and he's like, he comes to Earth, and his first like mission that you see him in is actually helping the common man, like helping like these people that work in like a lithium mine, like and he's helping the common guys, and he's trying to do it under the radar kind of thing. So it's a very different feel to it, because he's not like, he's seen what the ruling class has done to planets, and he's like, you're the people. You people should be running this place, So is like, does Krypton explode and he's sent it? We don't know yet. They've I think in the second comic book they delve more into Krypton, like his parents being there and stuff like that, but we haven't seen it explode yet.
Okay.
You see them doing some mining in Krypton, and the core is like unstable.
I see.
And Jor-El actually goes to like the ruling class, which is the scientific class, to let them know. And they're like, "Who are you? You're just like a miner. Why are you telling us we're the intellects here in Krypton?" So it's kind of goes flash back and forth, and Superman's power set is very different in this. Like he has to, like, his powers, like he has a suit that's kind of like nanotech almost. So it's like his cape and stuff is like kind of nanotech. It like shows up and it does.
Okay.
And then like he's got like a limited supply of solar energy that he can absorb. So like after a while, like the suit will tell him like, Kal-El, you're almost out of power. Like you need a charge. So he has like a solar panel that kind of, so he can get the sun's rays.
Okay.
Like directly in.
Now, does he
him.
still pretend to be like Clark Kent and everything?
We haven't seen Clark Kent yet.
Oh, really?
No.
Okay.
It's just Superman so
Superman.
far. Yeah.
Wow.
My favorite so far though has been Absolute Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
It's very different. It's a Wonder Woman who, as a baby, is delivered to the witch Circe in hell. So the whole thing is the gods are upset with the Themyscirians, so they go to kill all of them, and Wonder Woman is kind of taken to hell to be like smuggled away, and lives in hell, and so she uses more like magic than anything. She learns kind of magic from Circe, and is like the last, and like the word Amazon has been banned by the gods, so no one can say it. And like she keeps going to Circe, like, what am I? Like, what am I? And Circe is going like, you know what you are, and once you say it, like, you'll gain your full power kind of thing. So it's very much like knowing where her power comes from. It's like this power within. And it's really well done, though. And
nice.
Like, she has like a demon Pegasus that she rides, and it's really badass, yeah.
So it's like she interact with Hades then, and
not yet.
Okay.
It's just been Circe and like a bunch of like demon types and stuff. But it's been really cool.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those, I mean, just a little
I'll have to check
thing
those
that,
out.
it's really cool art.
Yeah.
The storylines have been very interesting and very different from the norm. I don't know how long these stories are going to go. I don't know if it's just like 6 issues or what, but I'm enjoying them.
And you have the trades, or is this a single?
No, it's just single issues.
Oh,
right now.
really?
I think
Okay.
the
cool.
second issues are out on all 3
Okay.
books right now. But
I'll probably wait for the trades. Just
yeah,
'cause-
but it's
But
very
I am
interesting.
interested though.
The designs are really great. Like the Batman design's insane because he is just like, he's like 7 foot and like, he looks like Shaq. Like he's gigantic.
Hey, baby.
Yeah.
It's me, Batman.
Kind of reminds me of remember when Jean Paul was Batman for a while,
yeah.
and he was just like like beating the shit out of people
Yeah.
and just tearing them up. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not killing them, but I'm gonna slice them open.
Yeah, and like the whole thing with the bat is like his parents were killed in a zoo.
Oh, wow.
Like, so they were like
Jesus.
going through the zoo, and like some guy just started out taking shots at people. So so like they weren't the only ones that were killed that day. But he was like staring at a bat poster when it all went down. So
Oh, fuck.
and like you see like he uses engineering to like create the cape that he has like independent control, so he can like hook people with the cape, and it's very interesting. It's cool though.
Is he like, hey hey, Cranes, quit being so scared all the time. Like in their orphanage.
When they get,
or something. Like, they're just like...
Oh, Eddie, why do you like puzzles so much?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that one's
Quit giving me riddles, okay?
Right.
It's real lame.
Selena, you're playing with that ball of string.
Why do you have that umbrella all the time, Oz? It never rains.
Yeah. These guys are weird.
Hey, you guys want to hear a joke?
Yeah. But it's been cool so far, and it's an interesting take on stuff.
All right, that's cool. Yeah. Awesome. All right, well, the next episode that we have coming up hopefully will be a Sonic-centric episode.
Gotta go fast!
Because we all did watch Sonic.
Yeah.
And
who didn't watch Sonic?
No, we all did.
I said we all did.
I said we all didn't watch Sonic. I was like, who didn't watch Sonic?
So hopefully we'll be able to get our friend Dan Mason on for that, and a special guest, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
So, and then, have Merry Christmas to all.
I know. Happy holidays to everyone out there.
Yes. And hopefully we get our next episode within the next week or two here. And then we can also do like a best and worst of.
Yeah, for the start of the year, for sure.
Yeah. Chad, you want to take us out?
Yes. Thank you all for listening to another episode of Enter the Nerdom. If you aren't already, please subscribe, like, share, comment, all that jazz.
Yeah, don't forget to rate and review. It does help the algorithm.
Yes.
And as we like to sing here... We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Nerdom Christmas. We wish you a Nerdom Christmas and a Happy Nerdom Year.
I was saying Nerdom.
Oh, sorry. Didn't know.